My sister skipped meeting my baby for a concert.
I mean, was it Taylor?
Yeah,
if it's Taylor Swift and it's like front row seats, I mean, come on, I'm missing that baby.
This is a very long story. Sorry in advance. There are so many details. I, 34 female, am originally from Toronto, Canada. I was born and raised there until I was 14 and then moved to Seattle, Washington, where I currently live. My dad moved here with my ex-stepmom years ago and my half-sister. By the way, this comes from Think Discussion 862. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my relationship with my dad has always been pretty shallow. He's not one to talk about a lot of deep topics, and throughout my childhood, he wasn't very present. But I have concluded my relationship with him won't be deep, and I have accepted it for what it is. My half-sister, 24 female, and I have a very good relationship. We've texted and talked on the phone often, usually texting daily and talking on the phone weekly.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
It's lovely. Since we were young, I felt the need to protect her. Her mom, my ex-stepmom, and our dad used to fight a lot, to the point of the cops being called and parents going to jail for the night. That's more than fighting a lot. Whoa. Because of this, her sense of stability in the parents wasn't really there. I wanted to be something stable for her. Since then, we've grown and she moved back to Toronto with her mom and I stayed in Seattle, but I always wanted to see her, so I bought her plane tickets for her to come visit me and I bought flights to go see her in Toronto, along with other family that lives there. And when she's here, I want to spoil her, so we go to cafes, have lunches, go to events, get matching sister tattoos. I take her shopping. I've even bought her a trip to Australia as a gift, and those are pricey. I give her cash as gifts. I buy her jewelry, the books and shoes she wants, etc. I'm trying to be there for her by providing experiences and giving her things she needs/wants.
That's really, really nice.
Lovely. And I'm sad about the title because you seem like you're a great sister.
Yeah.
Now my story begins after I had a baby in September 2023. I told my family right away when I found out I was pregnant 8 months earlier and told them the due date. Everyone was excited for the first grandchild. My dad had been asking for years when I'd have a baby and when he'd become a grandfather. Fast forward to having the baby. She was born early September and my mom came to help 1 month before the baby was born and stayed for a month after she was born. Great mom. During that time, my half-sister expressed that she should be with me right after I gave birth. I told her I could help her pay for her plane ticket, or if she needed, I could pay for it entirely. She said she needed a few days and she'd get back to me. Eventually, she said she can't come because she couldn't take time off work and can't afford it. But we already know that the sister was going to pay for it.
But like, I mean,
time
saying
off work,
I can't get time off work, I think,
that's a bit more reasonable.
That could be a bit more reasonable if it's true. If you're not a dirty, stinky liar.
Didn't make sense to me since I offered to pay for her flight, but I let it go. My dad told me in mid-September 2023, he's going to take a trip to New Zealand. He lives in the US too, but in the state of Georgia. And he booked it for October for 16 days. I was kind of confused. He'd travel around the world before meeting my daughter, but figured he just needed to travel. He's always wanted to go to New Zealand. Sometimes you got to take a trip before you become a grandfather.
Yeah.
He told my half-sister about his trip, and she mentioned she was going to quit her job in December, and if he postpones his trip till after she quits, she'll go with him. Fun.
Okay.
He did this and moved their trip to the first 2 weeks in January 2024. I was happy they could go together and didn't think much of it. I still figured they'd come visit before that trip. Then October 2023 comes, and my sister tells me about weekend-long concert she's been going to in Montreal, and she has to take time off work for it. And this is where I start to get confused and hurt.
Off work for your weekend-long concert, but you won't take time off for my baby?
Ridiculous.
That's the coolest concert around. You can hear me screaming and my baby screaming. It's like a little like Queen concert, like, wow.
And then I'm gonna cry anyway.
Yeah.
She did this twice and took weekend-long trips to concerts and raves. She stayed in Montreal and hotels, etc. This just didn't align with her saying she had no time off to see me and no money. Then she mentioned these tickets to Portugal are cheap and she's going to buy them for the upcoming year.
Dude, she was just saying she can't afford travel. This is BS.
This is stupid. Yeah,
and after
this is stupid.
all the trips that I've got,
this is how you treat me?
Yeah, how
this
dare
is how
you
you pay me back on the day of my child's birth?
No respect.
I think she should travel, but it's starting to hurt more because it feels like meeting my daughter isn't a priority. In November 2023, I asked my dad if he'll come visit anytime soon. He says he can't. He uses every excuse every time I ask him. I can't because the property, I need to fix something. Or I have to build a fence and go to this meeting about it. What?
I have to build a fence is a crazy excuse.
Yeah, she's like, hey, are you going to come meet my baby? And he's like, I've got to build a fence.
I got to cook the water. You know, the water's not going to cook itself.
I eventually gave up asking him. Then I found out my half-sister went down to Georgia to visit our dad in November 2023, and she took off work for that, which all hurt again.
Oh.
My dad and half-sister then flew to New Zealand in January 2024, early February 2024. My sister did come out to visit us and meet my daughter. At this point, she's 5 months old, and I'm happy she's here. My dad eventually makes it out to see us in May 2024 when my daughter is 8.5 months old. That's insane to me. Like, as a grandparent, but also just like a parent, to not want to immediately come out. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that like the family isn't
for, like, the
prioritizing OP at all. I mean, it's really sad, honestly.
Mid-July 2024, my daughter is 10 months old now. I talk to my half-sister and tell her I'm hurt because meeting my daughter didn't seem like a priority for her.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks, she's very defensive, telling me, nothing big happened to you. You just had a baby.
That is like one of the most important things that you...
Was that sarcastic?
That is one of the most important things.
What is bigger than having a baby?
Through.
What is like, all right, I feel like it goes like, actually question, would you rather miss someone's marriage? All right, you have a marriage and a baby at the same day. Would you rather go to...
I'd probably go to the wedding.
The wedding over the baby?
Depending on who. Well, who are they?
It's me, but in 2 parallel universes.
It's you, but in 2 parallel universes.
Yeah, so you're either choosing between seeing the birth of my child or...
Am I in the room?
You can, if you want to.
Well, I guess
Sam's birthing the child.
Yeah. Let's assume that you have full autonomy.
I'm fully in the room.
You're fully in the room. You got
and I'm also
front row tickets.
I'm your
to
maid
the crowning
of honor
of the baby,
and I'm in the room.
Yes, you're my maid of honor, and you're in the room. Which one do you go?
I think if I'm your maid of honor, I have to be there for you.
Oh, it's true. Like you have a responsibility.
I have responsibilities.
That's true.
I'm not birthing the baby.
What if you're the doula of the baby? You're the maid of honor, and you're
I'm
the doula.
delivering the baby.
You're delivering the baby.
Whoa. Okay, so I'm the midwife
you're the
and
midwife
also the maid of honor.
And the maid of honor. Which one do you go?
Well, if I'm the midwife, I have to be the midwife.
Yeah, fair.
But if I'm just in the room and I'm also your maid of honor,
you're still going to be an auntie.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I wasn't the midwife, I would choose to be your maid of honor.
Yeah, fair.
But if I am the midwife, then I got to be in the room.
Yeah.
And that I'm acting like I died and that I should be upset with myself because my expectations are so high that I'm going to lose everyone I love.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
they called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads and could not trade my lunch for a lunch.
Cheese
Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Ooh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
When I point out that she had the time off work because she went to all the concerts and visited our dad, she said she barely had the time off, and those were spur of the moment trips. I point out that she works part-time. Her job isn't full-time, and she always gets 3-day weekends. Oh my God. Could she have come to visit for a 3-day weekend? She said the price of the ticket wasn't worth it for only visiting 3 days.
Ugh.
Which I don't understand. I know she'd rather be here for a week, but I even offered to pay for the ticket. And when I pointed that out, she said she just didn't want to ask me to pay for it. She would have rather I just paid for it without having to ask her. She's like, why didn't you ask me?
It's such a burden. Just read my mind.
Still confuses me. Then when I pointed out how she had said no money, but she works, and our dad also gives her $1,000 a month just to do whatever she wants, she said how she spends her own money is her own business, not mine. This went on for 3 weeks. And then
3 weeks of this bickering?
Wow. Then she told our dad we were arguing, and he called me and said I needed to fix things because I'm the older sibling. And that if I don't, he's going to consider changing his will.
I don't like when people threaten their will.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
lame.
come on. Like,
Get a grip.
wait until I pass away.
Yeah, I'll show you. You're not getting a thing.
Yeah. This went on for 3 weeks. Then she told her dad we were arguing, and he called me saying I needed to fix it because I'm the older sibling, and that if I don't, he's going to consider changing his will. And he was considering coming to live in Seattle to be around me and my family. And now he's not because I'm tearing his family apart. That's so lame. Like, oh, well, I was thinking about moving there to be with you and your child, but now, no, I don't think I will. And Opie's like, you never told me that.
Yeah, and also like it's like you're having the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, you're like doing exactly the insane, terrible behavior that you've always wanted to do, while getting the benefit of like, maybe I would have if you hadn't been so mean.
Yeah, maybe I would
lame.
have done it. But you know what you guys should do? Listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. Don't do it right now. Stay where you are. But if you're watching this in the future,
Do it then.
there's a little bit more to the story. I hung up the phone on my dad. He hasn't talked to me since that phone call, which was back in August 2024. My half-sister apologized briefly. I told her I'm not happy being treated this way, and she
Dude, she's
blew
a
up
lame-o.
on me again and went straight back into being defensive, and then told me it's not worth having a relationship with me if we're gonna keep doing this.
I feel like did something
Okay,
happen?
arguing.
I feel like there's
Yeah,
some
why is she so-
information because
Yeah.
they were great for years. I feel like there's some information that we're not getting.
So I'm wondering, Reddit fam, should I have just kept my mouth shut? Am I the a-hole? Are my expectations of my family too high? Okay. And there are some comments to finish this off. Comment 1 says, some people just aren't baby people, and your sister is in the prime 20s. Face it, they did come to see the baby, but their lives are not baby-centered like yours is. Okay, that's no. I think that's a stupid thing to say, because even if you
It's
don't like
meaningful.
babies,
It's meaningful.
you
to them.
don't have to be there to see the baby. You can be there to support your sister and your daughter, who is actively going through one of the most painful experiences of maybe her life.
Yeah, and it's about supporting someone
Yeah.
through their milestones.
It's really-
and to not support someone
Yeah.
through that milestone feels like just like you don't care about them.
It's only 50% about this baby. It's also about 50% about supporting the person who's birthing the child.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
sure what dad's problem is, but my sister is aware that going to concerts and lots of fun adult activities are probably not going to happen now that baby is here. It was okay to tell them your feelings once, but stop bringing it up and move on with your life. You have your own family now, and your dad and sister seem to be doing okay. They'll come to visit on their own time. Meanwhile, enjoy your baby and keep your conversations positive. I disagree with that comment.
Enjoy your baby and yeah.
Like, oh yeah, your family's living their life, but like you can't be upset. I don't agree with that.
I mean, I think like
I think in terms of, maybe you don't have to actively reach out to them because they're clearly not showing an effort. But
yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe that's good advice. Like, don't hold on to the hate. But I really think maybe that means you see now where you fall in the priority wheel of your
Exactly.
family, and now take that information into how you want to treat them going forward.
Yeah. Comment 2, not the a-hole. I would be hurt too. Here I was bummed that my mom and sister waited a week to come see me after my baby, and they only waited that long because they'd been sick. Your expectations are not too high, especially since you were going to pay for your sister's ticket. It sounds like surely there was more going on, or has your relationship with your sister always been one-sided? OP says, if there was something more going on, they haven't told me. The relationship has been this one-sided, but I figured it's because our age gap and she's so much younger. But I've always been the one to pay for our experiences and gifts, be there for graduations, etc. She has never come visit me for a big life event. And I even had a wedding dress fitting in Toronto, and she still couldn't make it. I think I'm realizing it was just more of a one-sided relationship.
That would
be really sad.
That's really, really sad.
I'll be there for your groomsmen fitting.
Unless Isabella's having a baby.
Yeah. Comment 3 says, not the a-hole. Your sister growing up in that chaotic environment and being in her 20s. I can see her responses and behavior being like this. I'm in my 20s. I wouldn't pull this behavior.
Yeah, but you're like your mid-20s now.
Lil sis will hopefully get a reality check one day, but your dad also still seems to be unstable with his behavior and priorities, especially after bugging you about grandkids. His gaslighting and putting blame on you is unreal. So sorry. Enjoy your new little one. And Opie replies, I've learned to deal with my dad like this. It's not the first time he's done this. Thank you for your insight. I never really thought our upbringing could be impacting my sister in this situation, but it definitely could be. And that is the end of that story. Man, oh man, yeah, your sister and your dad
Really
kind of
sad. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
But I
She's
think
not
like
there for you. And you now you know that these people are not going to prioritize you. And just like, no, going forward, you know what? No more paying for flights. And your sister's going to realize that she was relying on you a lot and hopefully, you know, get some sense.
I don't want my baby to have a relationship with my father-in-law because he has never cared about me.
It's okay, OP. I'll care about you.
I'll care about you more, though.
I'll care about you more.
No, I care about you most times infinity. A little backstory is needed. I, 29 female, have known my fiance, 31 male, since 2019. We had an on-again, off-again relationship until March of 2022. I moved out of state and he realized he couldn't stand me not being in his life. So he broke up with his then girlfriend to be serious with me. He flew to my new state and brought me home. By the way, this comes from user background noise 21. And if you want to submit your own stories, go do it at the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So he knew his family would have some questions. So he told a half-truth about our relationship, saying that I had a family emergency, my sister needed back surgery, and came home suddenly and needed a place to stay, and that we were feeling out our situation, but nothing was concrete. We had discussed children, getting married, getting a house, and all expectations of the relationship before I agreed to come home with him. We got pregnant a year and a half into our current relationship. It wasn't planned. I was switching birth control because my previous one was making me depressed and gaining weight, 20 pounds in 9 months. In the year and a half prior to getting pregnant, there were a few instances with his family members that has caused tension with getting close. I made a joke when a sister-in-law, S, we'll call her Stephanie, who doesn't understand my humor, and she told the family I wanted to poisson her husband. She was complaining that step-brother-in-law C, who I will call Carter, was never home and didn't appreciate her. I told her that if he was sick, he would be home, and if she took care of him, then he would have to appreciate everything she did for him. But now we just have to figure out how to make him sick. 3 months after I made this joke, I gave them a loan of $20,000 to help them start a business, which if I wanted to poisson or hurt him, I wouldn't have given him the loan. I want my money back at some point. Later, step-sister-in-law A, Alice, got pregnant, and we have a mutual friend. They had a friends with benefits relationship while I just knew this guy from around town. When I ran into him, I asked how he felt about sister-in-law Alice being pregnant and if he regrets not being in a committed relationship working towards having kids soon. He let me know he wasn't aware of her being pregnant. I instantly felt bad and begged him not to tell sister-in-law that I told him. Since they still work together, I thought he already knew. Well, sister-in-law Alice found out I told him and let the family know what I did.
Alice is a little tattletale. Every time we see this conundrum, Alice tells the family.
Tattletale Alice, and also maybe tell people that your pregnancy's a secret, low-key? Yeah. How are you going to be mad at her for not being, you didn't tell her it was a secret?
OP was just literally making small talk. I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, you're dumb.
When you literally work with the father of your child, that is not a crazy thing to assume that he already knows. I never knew that she or the family was mad at me at this because no one told me. I just felt iced out at holidays, but my fiance told me it was nothing until I spent $100 on her baby shower and was punted out without an explanation. My fiance finally then explained everyone's attitude towards me after I got home. Step-brother-in-law M, who I will call Marty, has 2 biological kids and his girlfriend has 1 from a previous relationship as well. They have been living in an apartment that father-in-law owns for several years without paying rent. When a house that my fiance's grandfather owned became available with sizable land, I might add, I said something to my fiance's bio sister that I didn't want Marty to get it. I felt he didn't deserve it. Bio sister B, Betty, has been looking for a house so she can start a family. So I felt if fiance and I didn't get the house, she should be able to have it. Marty has never kept a job for longer than 6 months, even with having custody of his kids. The only time he was able to hold down a job is when my fiance employed him or when brother-in-law Carter did. Marty is a fan of the devil's lettuce and is a free spirit. He's always learning new musical instruments and painting and drawing or playing video games. He and his family are never outside. His kids never play outside to the point they are afraid of getting dirty and the smallest bugs scare him. The house needed a lot of work to make it livable, and I knew Marty wouldn't be able to afford it. And if he did afford it, he wouldn't pay grandpa rent since he hasn't been forced to pay father-in-law rent for over 8 years. Because of my statement to Betty, she told father-in-law and his wife, stepmother-in-law feels like I'm coming between the family. Stepmother-in-law has never made me feel welcome. She would reach out to all the women in the family for holidays and tell them what to bring, but never reached out to me. She never made an effort to get to know me at functions, and when we announced my pregnancy, she grilled me on being a part of the family and bashed me for a solid hour, making me cry. Brother-in-law Carter told my fiance to convince me to terminate my pregnancy.
All right.
So he's
this
cut off.
So this family really doesn't like you.
The stepmother-in-law is cut off.
Alice is cut off.
You know what? And it seems like you have enough family members that you can just cut off the ones who are trash.
You know what? Just go hang out with Marty and then make sure he can be a parent and then be like, all right, let's just chill with our kids.
Yeah, Marty might not be responsible, but at least he's not actively a terrible person to you, OP. Let's keep going.
Just a conundrum of a father.
While I was pregnant, they didn't reach out and ask how I was doing. I had to throw my own baby shower, and their idea of help once the baby came was to hold him while I cleaned the house.
John, we're going to get back to the story,
Yeah.
but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a
baby.
piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect your
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
Now back to the story.
Even with a second-degree tear, and I ended up so sick, every time I stood up, I felt like I was going to pass out. They still only wanted to hold the baby. 2 weeks after giving birth, father-in-law told my fiance, quote, I'm the grandfather. I should be able to see the baby whenever I want. She does know she's a part of our family now, right? Which means we see all of our other grandbabies every other week. We expect the same of her. As if the 2 years we were together prior didn't make me a part of the family. And they never included me in the family. Yet I was supposed to hand over my child without question. Now, mother-in-law, on the other hand, has been amazing. She has always made me feel welcome. She's crocheted me a scarf that I was wanting, made my baby a blanket to match my scarf, and several outfits, even the one my baby came home in. She has never been pushy about seeing the baby, and every time she would visit, she would offer to do laundry or dishes or whatever I needed done. I love my mother-in-law. Sorry for the long backstory. My baby is a year old now, and at first, father-in-law and his wife were super pushy about seeing the baby and demanding pictures every week. Never once asking how I was doing or inviting me to come see them or asking me to come see the baby. They wanted to take my baby by themselves, even though I strictly breastfed no bottles, and I was a stay-at-home mom. They always reach out to my fiance and complain they haven't seen our child in weeks. There was literally a family get-together every 3 or 4 weeks, and so we saw them all the time. I see these people as strangers, and I don't trust them. I've seen how stepmother-in-law speaks and treats to her bio-grandchildren, and I don't like it. Making her 2-year-old grandbaby stand on a scale every time she gets him because he's getting chunky, he shouldn't be weighing so much.
That's a
Literally
freaking baby, bro.
Black hole, dude. I want this through the sun into the black hole.
It's a
You're
freaking
stanky
baby,
spaghetti.
dude.
You're weight checking a 2-year-old. She tells her children and their significant others when she is getting the grandkids instead of asking. Their pushy and entitlement attitude just rubs me the wrong way. I have cut my entire family out of my life for their toxicity, and their pushiness just makes me want to dig my heels in harder. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. She lives 45 minutes away, and so does her parents. When she visits bio sister, she will sometimes stop in and visit with me and play with the baby. She's taken me out to lunch. She celebrated my birthday. For my first Mother's Day, she had seen a eating hoodie I posted on Facebook, and she surprised me with it. She even buys me gifts for Christmas. All the things father-in-law and stepmother-in-law don't do. Mother-in-law has taken the time to get to know me and helps me whenever she can. I went to her town to go shopping, and I trusted her to watch the baby for an hour while I did so. When her parents haven't seen my child in a while, she will let me know. They keep asking, and she asks what my schedule looks like. As soon as she tells me her family wants to see the baby, I go out of my way to make it happen. I don't feel like walking on eggshells around her. I feel accepted. And by the way, we will always accept you listening to full episodes with stories like this. All you have to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. We have just a little bit of story left here. But before we go on, I mean, I think definitely we have a no to low contact conversation here.
Where is the fiance or father here? Because I don't think they're married yet. They're not married yet.
I would assume giving in to demands. That's where he's at.
But like, where is the OP talking to him? Like, hey, they kind of suck. Like, your stepmom sucks. Nah, and then he's just like, that's just how they are. What?
Yeah, so we don't have to have them around. That's the crazy.
We don't have them around? No, you gotta have them around.
Need to have them around.
No, like, what's going on here? Where is his say? Where is he at? OP, you just got like low contact, even though it seems like you were doing low contact, but they do family events every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's weird to be like, that's already a lot, honestly. So anyway, let's finish the story. My problem is this. My fiance works 12 to 16 hour days and he's hardly ever home. He sees his child for maybe an hour or two every day. There are a few days where he only sees him for 15 minutes. He's pushing me to make more of an effort for his father and stepmom. I don't feel like it's my place. My focus is on our family and those that accept us as a family. If father-in-law and stepmother-in-law want to see our child, they should reach out and invite us over or ask if they can visit, which neither of them do. So what should I do? Would I be the a-hole if I didn't put forth the effort and kept doing what I'm doing? Side note, they treat the biological sister-in-law the same way. She just had her baby and they ask how the baby is, but never ask about her. Father-in-law complains that mother-in-law was at the hospital when she gave birth and comes over to see the baby all the time, but mother-in-law is cooking, cleaning, and taking sister to the grocery store so she doesn't get overwhelmed. Mother-in-law is taking care of her daughter so her daughter can take care of her baby, while father-in-law would only and is only focused on the baby.
So he's just a selfish prick.
Yeah, I don't know.
He just wants baby, and then he's going to be like, I'm going to command you and make you into my little soldier.
Yeah, militant. I was going to say, he seems very militant. I would say, at the very least, express what you want to see in terms of positive changes with your relationship with your in-laws.
Yeah, there's
the bad ones.
There's no way they should be making demands towards you. You should be the ones making demands towards them. That's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story.
We have another one coming right up.
My mother-in-law designed my baby's nursery with political memorabilia, and she refused to remove it.
I'm speechless, actually.
She's like, I just know this baby's going to be a political science major when he grows up. My husband, 34 male, and I, 29 female, are expecting our first child. He is an only child, and his mother, 65 female, is over the moon excited. She lives about a mile away, and my husband and I both work. So she has made a nursery at her house for the baby to stay. More on that later. By the way, this comes from user Sad Oop. And if you want to submit your own stories, go ahead and do it at the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, her and I have an okay relationship, not antagonistic, but we are wildly different. I was raised by a Gen X cool mom, where we talked about everything and I was raised to be independent. We have our fights, but it's healthy, open communication. When I make a decision or set a boundary as an adult, that is respected without question in my family. My mother-in-law is a more typical traditional mom, very doting on her son who was a perfect angel. In reality, he was just good at not getting caught and telling his mom what she wanted to hear. I give the context because the mismatch between how I'm used to communicating and how her and her son communicate is part of the problem. Now, the story. My mother-in-law is a Trump supporter. My husband and I are very much not. We live in a conservative southern state, and I'm no stranger to Republicans. Some of my closest family members are Republicans, but none of them are Trump believers like my mother-in-law. Even if they were, they respect me too much to talk about it because they know where I stand. I usually try and do the same for my mother-in-law and steer our conversations away from politics when I can. It's hurtful to me that she's voting against my rights. My state outright bans women's rights to choose. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm afraid something's wrong with the baby, and as a result, I could be in mortal danger. I'm trying to not let her political beliefs affect how I see her, but it is hard. That's when she sends me pictures of the nursery. She's done an elephant theme. Hanging on the wall is a painting with the Republican stars and stripes elephant. I'd heard about this from my husband beforehand, but didn't realize how prominent it was. She told him, quote, I mean, I had to. I'm a again, when I first heard this, I immediately freaked out. I think it's inappropriate to put anything political in a nursery. I know there will be some hard conversations down the road when it comes to what conversations I do and don't want had with my kid, what I don't want on TV, etc. Republican signage over the crib feels like a bad omen. My husband's attitude is to pick his battles. He has no problem fighting with his mom if she crosses a line, but doesn't see the picture as big of a deal. I feel that if a small thing is a point of contention, what's going to happen when it's a major boundary that needs to be set? He was fine with me handling the situation how I saw fit. I sent this message, quote, "The room looks great, but I can't say I like the Republican elephant hanging up there. I get y'all are Republican, but I'm very much not and don't really want that around my kid. Do you think we could take that down? It'd make me feel more comfortable." And I got zero response. This isn't the first time where I've sent a message setting a boundary and gotten radio silence, or we'd have a conversation over the phone and I'd think everything was resolved until my husband talked to her and she's still upset. To give my husband credit, he's not defending her in any way or taking her side over mine. He's just used to ignoring her, and I'm used to hashing things out. He's out of town, but when he gets back, he plans on visiting in person and setting things straight.
Okay, cool, good. I was gonna say husband's kind of being way too laid back, but I guess this is how the couple is and how the family is, and everyone's used to it. Okay, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been conditioned at this point. He's like, I know if I fight her over this, it's going to be like just a tooth and nail, drag out nonsense fight. First, I need to know though, am I overreacting by being this bothered? Does this situation actually warrant fighting with my mother-in-law? I do not want to set a precedent of me being uncomfortable with something and saying nothing where my child is concerned. There is an update. Just a couple of points I clarified in comments. My mother-in-law has made a baby room at her house.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man nowadays.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
We have our own nursery at our house that I'm decorating how I want. We were gifted 2 cribs and they have an empty bedroom, so I had no issue, but there was no discussion prior. I never asked my mother-in-law to babysit. She assumed she would babysit when I returned to work, which is okay. She's retired and lives close by. I have no problem, at least before all this, with her being a part of my baby's life. We're not in a spot where her providing childcare is a make or break. I work from home and have a flexible schedule. It'd be inconvenient, but mother-in-law babysitting a few mornings a week is more for her than us. I don't hate my mother-in-law. I don't think she's a bad person. She raised a son who is a wonderful husband and will be a great dad. She didn't force beliefs when raising him. It's a situation a lot of us are facing with our parents. 8 years of Fox News and the cult of Trumpy changing people we love into someone else. I'm trying to see the best in my mother-in-law and not hurt her in this situation, but nobody's feelings come before what I think is best for my child. Today, I spoke with my husband about my concerns. He agreed that his mother needs to talk with me when I have concerns and follow any rules I set forth. He called her, but didn't think it would be a fight because he believes in his mom. It did not go well. He's out of town, but when he gets home tomorrow, he's going over there to have it out. In his words, I'm handling it. Nice. We like a husband that handles it, huh?
So.
With his own mom. Don't make me handle your mom. What are you doing? Handle your mother, please. Update number 2. I just heard my husband's side. He spoke with his mom for 30 minutes on the phone, and it was a disaster. For anyone saying this was a way of her testing boundaries, you were right. It started with mother-in-law acknowledging that she read my text but didn't respond because she didn't think it was a big deal. He said, well, it is a big deal for my wife, and this needs to be resolved. She then goes into how we could use this as a teaching moment for how to be accepted. He reminded his mom that she knows what our politics are, and she knew exactly what she was doing putting that up. The conversation then devolved into name calling. At one point, she called him a fascist and said he needed to grow some balls if the picture bothered him, instead of making it an issue when his wife said it was an issue. And that's when I'd be like, hey, no balls? Guess what? You don't get to watch the grandchild anymore. Bye. Do you apologize?
Sorry, no balls? No grandchild for you.
All right, no balls? Dang, my balls made my grandchild. That's crazy.
Crazy how it works.
Yeah. No balls? Crazy. Well, then you won't get to see the grandchild that my balls helped make. So think about that.
Bye.
Speaking of things to think about, I want you to think about how you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one.
Wow.
And all you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any, podcast platform of your choice and just search OK Storytime. And there you will find the archive.
The
of like
archives,
2,000 plus episodes.
they are complete.
They are complete.
Master Kenobi, they are complete.
There's nothing incomplete about these archives. But this story is almost complete. I mean,
I think we've said our 2 cents. Now the mother-in-law is getting a little egregious here.
So are we like going no contact with the grandchild here, or are we like I want to hear what you have to think about the boundaries.
Said this already. In no sense is she a terrible woman, other than like a little fluffs here and there. I mean, obviously, like, because this conversation was held with the son and the father of your child, see how he feels. If he's like, okay, that crossed the line, because I mean, obviously I would, as my partner got called out by his mom, I'm like, that offends me, but like, how does that make you feel, hubby?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like, that's how she talks to me. I don't care, but like, I put my foot down and that's what we are. And so I think it's morally up to him as well to see how he feels on this conversation, because this blew out of nowhere.
And it's like it starts like this is like a little snowball. It can like roll up and get out of control. It's like, do you want her talking to your kid like this hypothetically? You know?
Yeah.
Like what happens when your kid disagrees with grandma? Now is grandma going to go on a tirade to him?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you know, I don't think like you need to cut her off. I'm saying like I think her time spent with the grandchild. I think the nursery now at her place, hey, you might as well change that room to something else because we're not going to be having you watch him over there.
Yeah.
And, you know, any time that's spent with the grandchild is going to be supervised.
Yeah.
Until further notice, you know, until we can get some kind of agreement here on where our relationship and where our boundaries stand. And you're not just going to, you know, walk all over us.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is just, let's see what the end of the story before we get anywhere else, because I feel like this was a climax of a conversation before anything else.
Yeah, let's finish the story. Very typical. She said, your wife is the bad guy trying to keep her away from the grandbaby. As you can guess, this didn't go over well. He made it clear that her issue is not with me. Now that mother-in-law disrespected his wife, he's got a problem with her.
There we go.
W husband.
Boom. There.
Look at that spine, a freaking firm, rigid spine on that man. You'd love to see it. I, the wife, have given mother-in-law a lot of slack and not jumped down her throat for the offensive things that she said. It's mother-in-law that is putting politics over family. It was never about the elephant. He wasn't worried at first about her respecting our rules, but with how she's acting, he knows it's a problem. The conversation cut off there, but he's going over there in person tomorrow to start it right back up. He made it clear to mother-in-law this is not her child and she does not have decision-making power.
Like I called it.
Yes. I'll update tomorrow if there's any big developments, but as of right now, I feel validated that something was indeed off, and I'm grateful that my husband and I are on the same page and supporting each other. There are some comments. Number 1, she can have whatever she likes in her own home, of course. My kid just wouldn't be one of the things that's ever in that room of her house.
That's what we said. We said that. You could do that in your own house.
My mother-in-law tried to set up a nursery to play house with our kids at her house, and we completely leveled with her that there was 0 point. Our kids would never spend any time and have never spent any time with her unaccompanied by us, and would 100% of the time be sleeping in their playpens and eventually an air mattress in the same room with us. The type of person who pushes their opinions onto others is the same person who will justify trampling boundaries and doing whatever they feel like with your kid if they believe that it's right. Comment number 2 is your mother-in-law shouldn't be projecting her political views onto her future grandbaby. It's giving off weird and inappropriate behavior. If she wants to even have a part of your baby's life, she needs to respect your boundaries. Before you know it, she's going to start buying Trump baby clothes, which honestly is hilarious. Not gonna lie. But that is the end of that story.
My sister-in-law is furious I named my baby after their late mother because she wanted to do it first.
No fair, I called dibs.
I wanted to do it first. Well, you should have done it quicker. Me, female 22, and my husband, male 23, are expecting our first child within the next month. This is an old issue by now, but I wanted to post for some outside opinions because I feel guilty about this. Even though my husband says that his sisters just have to get over it, and if they don't, oh well. By the way, this comes from either department, FGH, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when we found out we were expecting and started to choose names, we split the task up since we didn't know/want to know the gender. My husband chose the boys' names, and I chose the girls' names after checking the other party. I also liked the name. I had known I had always wanted a baby girl with the middle name Violet, so I started there, and in the process of looking for a first name that went well with the meaning of Violet, my husband's late mother's name came up. I thought it sounded really nice and I liked the meaning behind it. But before I settled, I found a few others and asked my husband what his thoughts were on using his mom's name. He liked the idea and was happy with the choice and said it was fine. Even after I triple checked, he wouldn't rather I use a different name. We told our family shortly after at the next family gathering, and we thought nothing of it until a few days after I received a text from his older sister. The audacity of you to think it's appropriate to try to name your child after our deceased mother is beyond me. To take that away from us should we have children is outrageous. I know that it wasn't husband's idea, which is what makes it not okay. But just so you're aware, you kissed any opportunity of restoring your relationship with your husband's sisters goodbye should you name that child. Redacted. Me and his sister have never gotten along well, but his oldest sister is a narcissist and has had similar outbursts like this before with my husband and me. He bought me a promise ring before I went to college, and in my excitement to share the news, I just posted a pic of the ring on my ring finger without context. Ooh. I corrected it almost immediately, but she still called him and yelled at him for getting engaged without talking it through with her first and without asking her opinion on it. Oh, I didn't know she was the lord of the world.
What possibly could have eluded you?
I didn't know that she was the president of the entire earth.
You didn't see the memo at the beginning of this story saying, hello, this is about
the
prime
fireside
minister of the solar system.
Yeah. Can't go
She's
without
the one who
her
pays for all the
say-so.
trebuchets.
Mm-hmm. I showed the message to my husband and started to break down because I didn't mean to cause issues with his family and didn't want him to not have his sisters just because of a name. My family is super shattered, so I know how much it can hurt to be shut out by family for something minor. And he has a big family. I don't want the same to happen for him. I told him we could change it, and he said no, that he would call his younger sisters and ask what they thought and would talk to his older sister about the way she decided to approach this topic as well as why she felt this way about it. His younger sister was upset that we didn't discuss it with them before choosing the name, as they feel like we should have at least asked if they would have minded, but his older sister was unyielding in her opinion and has gone no contact with us. This was all compounded by my husband losing his new job a few weeks later, and we have to move back in with my father-in-law about a week before Christmas. During the Christmas holidays, whenever my husband was not at home, job hunting or helping family, or when he did eventually get a job again, and my sister-in-laws were at the house, if I went upstairs, all conversation stopped until I went back downstairs. That's so awkward.
Wow, these people sound lovely to be around.
Yeah, sounds like a nightmare family. If the sister-in-law that was staying at the house with us was cooking, she often made enough for father-in-law, her, and brother-in-law. When she did this, I would sneak upstairs around 11 and 12 at night to make food because I didn't want to make things worse by upsetting her more. So now they're just not feeding you? My husband is upset I did this, but my flight is stronger than my fight. After Christmas, she eventually started to make enough for everyone when she cooked and would send brother-in-law to tell me food was done, but she still would only talk to me and husband bare minimum that was needed before she went back to school. My husband is firm in his stance that we will not be changing the baby's name if it's a girl, and it is their choice to act this way, but I feel like I'm the a-hole because I did technically choose the name if it's a girl. What do you guys think? And there is an update. No, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think potentially your husband could have gone to his sisters and had that conversation as kind of siblings and been like, hey, we were thinking about using mom's name. I wanted to run that past you, but like, how is this your fault?
But like also,
you suggested a name.
Why is that? How does he not have the right to name his own
No,
daughter
I think he
after
does.
his mother?
I think he does. Update. Our little one was born and we named her after my husband's mom. A few days after we got home, my youngest sister-in-law sat down and talked with my husband and me, mainly my husband, as I didn't have anything to say, and was told that all three of them are severely hurt by us naming her after their mom, that I had no right to name her after their mom because I didn't know her, and that his eldest sister wanted us to know that we could still have her name changed. It has been 2 months since then, and they haven't spoken to us at all unless they cannot avoid it, i.e. my husband parks his car behind his sister's and she needs him to move it. But even then, she usually sends my brother-in-law as a mediator. With the holiday seasons coming up and a little one starting to interact with people and her surroundings, I'm nervous about what might be said by sister-in-laws to us or how eldest sister-in-law may act towards us or little one. If wanted, I can keep this post updated as things happen. Let's just jump in. Let's just jump into update 2.
And we've got another one.
Hello! It's been a bit, but I figured I put another update out. Unless my sister-in-laws start stuff during Thanksgiving/Christmas, this will probably be my last update. Little one is now just shy of 4 months, and a decent amount has happened. Around the 3-month mark, me and hubby were about to leave the house for a doctor's appointment. Me carrying little one, and I slipped in a puddle of dog piss, and the process of trying not to land on little one, her head made contact with a dumbbell, a shelf, and the floor.
Ooh, you're lucky that it was an odd number because the even numbers are serious, but you just made her a little funnier. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm making light of that. That's terrible. That sucks.
What? How did you slip in a pile of dog pee?
Someone has a dog, and it clearly needed to go out.
Both my youngest sister-in-law and brother-in-law saw this and did nothing to help. Sister-in-law just proceeded to walk around over us and went to her room. Wow, psychos. Me and hubby rushed little one to the ER where they discovered she had 3 subdural hematoma on her brain. Oh my God. She was life-flighted to a children's hospital around 2 hours away, and we all spent 3 days there doing additional tests. Thankfully, little one showed no negative signs/symptoms and still hasn't. And her most recent rescan has shown that she only has 1 hematoma left, and it's almost all gone. While we were at the ER, the youngest sister-in-law messaged my husband and told him that there was nothing on the floor where I slipped, making me feel like she was trying to make it seem like I tripped on purpose. After that incident, my husband and I realized that unless our father-in-law let us clean/go through the house and help him pack up his enormous amount of stuff, it was not safe for little one to be there, especially after she became mobile. We tried to discuss this with our father-in-law, but he shut us down, informing us that it's his crap, not ours. It ain't affecting y'all, so don't worry about it. It literally did affect them.
Quite literally.
Literally did.
Whoa, the effects, they're happening.
Right in front of you. He will get to it when he gets to it, and if he doesn't, we can deal with it when he's gone. I have still been packing up his stuff little by little and throwing away anything past its best by date. My mother-in-law had a lot of beauty products when she passed, even though I know it's not my place and it will make my father-in-law very upset when he notices. But little one is now trying to sit up and wants to put anything in reach into her mouth now. And while we're still there, I want her to be safe and to not have to be confined to a tiny basement room. To clarify, my father-in-law has a lot of stuff. The basement, when we moved back in, had just a walkway of available space, and he also had a storage building he rents as well full of stuff. Thankfully, my husband was able to get the job he was hoping for, and we're expecting to be debt-free by the end of the year so that we can save for a down payment and move out to a house before little one is a year old.
Oh, yeah. We love being free of debt.
Leave that house. The youngest sister-in-law is now back at college, so I no longer feel like I shouldn't be seen around the house, and our college stuff is no longer adding to the amount of junk in the basement. I'm hopeful that we will be able to move out sooner than little one's first birthday, but we have already had a few unexpected expenses pop up. My cat ate a bug in the basement, and we had to take her to the emergency vet because her face started to swell out. What bug did she eat? Did she eat a black widow?
Of course she ate the worst bug.
Oh my goodness.
Cats would eat the most deadly bug on earth.
If we were able to move out sooner, I'll post an update if wanted, but this will probably be the last one of the year. But this isn't the last episode of the year because we got a long way to go, and you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. But there's a little bit more to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, really, the only thing in my head is I want to know so bad what that bug is. Because I'm in distracty mode.
At the end of the day, tell us the bug.
I mean, maybe she ate a bee, says Josephine.
But was there a bee inside the house? I suppose bees can get inside houses
on a more real level.
Yeah.
Just kidding. My brain just wants to know what that bug is, dude.
That's
crazy.
On a more real level, I want to know what the bug is.
I'm trying. No, like I'm not even kidding. I'm trying to think as hard as I can. My brain won't let me.
It's okay.
It just wants to know the bug.
At the end of the day, you don't have to. You can go low contact with this family, especially because them not being at all worried or checking up on you after your baby fell on the floor and hit her head 3 times is crazy.
That actually
crazy. And also not checking up on you when you guys were like life flighted to a hospital. Crazy.
All that, yeah.
But there is an update, a third update. We are officially under contract for a house. Our realtor went above and beyond after we shared a situation with her. And as long as everything goes well with appraisals and inspections, we will be moved out of this stress pit before Thanksgiving. The sellers even offered to cover some of the closing costs to allow us to close sooner, and we couldn't be more thankful. We haven't told father-in-law or anyone else in my husband's family yet. We're waiting until the conversation with father-in-law for that, but fingers crossed we can get out of here as scheduled. Thanks for all the support and comments on this post, and hopefully this will be the last update.
And it
Who's
looks to be
say?
correct.
And that is true, actually.
That was the last update.
It was the last update.
End of the story. My sister-in-law claimed my baby as hers. My family thinks I'm overreacting.
That's not yours.
What?
That's not your baby.
I, 33 female, have been married to my husband, 28 male, for over 5 years. Our little family includes my daughter, 8 female, from a past relationship, and our son, 3 male. By the way, this comes from user deleted. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. My husband's immediate family can have moments of toxic behaviors of entitlement. I admit to my husband that his mother, older sister, and older brother can be quite draining to be around, and he agrees with me. Now I'm going to share with the lovely people of Reddit about my sister-in-law crossing my boundaries that I placed, and then playing the innocent victim when my husband and I blow up at her for her insensitive behaviors. There are many of these stories. I'm sharing the one that still bothers me. When my husband and I first found out we were going to have a baby, this was a planned pregnancy, we shared with our daughter, and she hugged my belly and smiled. We wanted to share our happy news with our families. That's so wholesome. That made me smile.
You're so cute.
Oh. My family was happy for us and congratulated us with hugs and back pats. When we shared our happy news with my husband's family, their reactions were different than expected. Brother-in-law nodded his head and acknowledged our news as positive information. Brother-in-law has autism. Mother-in-law started asking us a bunch of different questions and saying she didn't even know we were trying to get pregnant. Sister-in-law's fiance was happy for us. Sister-in-law pouted and huffed. When her upset reaction was acknowledged, she blew up at my husband and I for getting pregnant before her. What, did you have dibs? I'm sorry.
Not on you.
Was what?
That's not on you.
She ranted about how dare we go out of our way to throw our pregnancy in her face when we knew her and her fiance had been trying to get pregnant. Then accused us of doing this on purpose to hurt her?
So everything's about you.
Yeah, okay, main character syndrome.
It's not about you.
My husband told sister-in-law that us getting pregnant had nothing to do with her, and I backed him up. Yes. Sister-in-law left mother-in-law's place accusing us for being heartless and insensitive to our feelings. She cried about how horrible we were for becoming pregnant to spite her on her Facebook, and to toxic family members who ate it all up and called us the jerks for flaunting our pregnancy in her face because we should have known she was suffering from infertility troubles.
What? Like how? That's not fair.
How are we? I'm sorry, we're not psychic. What? It's like the logic gap to just jump immediately to, oh, you're doing this to make me upset.
It's on purpose. I'm sorry. Should we not celebrate that we're pregnant? Is that the reasoning here?
Selfish. Sorry, selfish. It is what it is. Sister-in-law was also just as bad as when we got married, but that's another story. We actually had no idea she was going through fertility troubles or had a hard time trying for a baby before their marriage. We wanted to have a baby together, so we chose to have one. Not long after sister-in-law's dramatics on social media and through the toxic family tree, we received a call from mother-in-law telling us to apologize to sister-in-law. The brother-in-law stayed out of it. Smart guy. My husband and I refused. We were not going to apologize to sister-in-law because we did nothing wrong. Mother-in-law just wanted peace between her kids because the holidays were coming up in a couple of months. The holidays were mentally draining. Sister-in-law was still bitter, and it showed with her body language. Side note, I have PTSD and other mental illnesses and disorders. When I'm triggered, it's very difficult for me to recall everything. I don't remember exactly what all happened. I do know sister-in-law and my husband were very loud and in aggressive verbal conversations. Again, sister-in-law cried about how terrible we are, and to their toxic family members and on social media. We cut off contact multiple times from sister-in-law during my pregnancy to stay mentally and emotionally safe. Thank good.
As you should.
As you should.
I would be like, hey, where's our congratulations? You know, we've been trying to do, like, we even try to do this, but like, hey, we're your family. Where's the love? Where's your husband in all of this? What does he say?
My third trimester of pregnancy was difficult on my body, but my doctor told me I was fine to keep working. I could barely walk or move without being in agony. I needed assistance to walk to the bathroom. Sister-in-law seems to have changed her tune and was saying now she was excited to become an auntie to our son. I have no idea why, how, who, what, or where this came from, but I was glad there would not be a fight at our baby shower. Not long after our baby shower, I went into labor. Son was 2 weeks early. Our son was born on Mother's Day. It was also our wedding anniversary. Damn!
Oh, what a big day for him.
The trifecta.
And you guys, yeah.
My parents and daughter were there for me during the labor. After birth, my husband's mom and brother walked in first, then his sister and her fiance. Sister-in-law was asking where the baby was and demanded to hold the baby first? Creep. That's weird.
That's not your baby.
Don't do that. My husband told her she had to wait because if anyone got to hold the baby first, it would be him or me.
Probably you. Yeah, either him or you, but you primarily.
Yeah,
you
I
are
think-
the mother.
Isn't that the standard? Like the mother should be holding
mother
the baby
holds
first?
the baby first.
Skin to skin or whatever? Like,
Yeah, imprint.
Come on,
was
guys.
Was it imprint?
so what are we talking about?
Mother's imprint?
I was so exhausted after labor. 12 hours long, by the way. I noticed when sister-in-law had her turn to hold our son, she took many different types of photos with her phone, then took many photos of her fiance and our baby. I thought nothing of this because I was too exhausted to care. Yo, this is honestly leaning into the sister-in-law needs mental assistance,
It's
mental.
getting
This is like a
cuckoo.
disorder type.
It's getting cuckoo alert, yeah.
I know there's a handful of different disorders surrounding like an intense desire to
For a
be
child.
pregnant or to
Yeah.
have a child
Yeah.
that she might be going through right now.
I've seen those in movies, and it's very disturbing.
I found out sister-in-law posted her pictures that she took that day of our baby on Facebook. But instead of saying it was her and her nephew, she wrote it was her and her little man. I was furious. Her little man? I didn't see her pushing him out of her. I'm sorry, but that was really funny.
That's kind of.
It's a funny quip.
I think little man's okay, but
Nah.
it does insinuate. Yeah, I would.
She knows what she's doing, bro. She knows that she couldn't have said
Again,
her
I'm a
little
pessimist.
boy.
I'm a pessimist.
I mean,
Being
it's good to have
pessimistic.
contrasting views, but I'm sorry, I got to shut you down immediately with that one. Just because I'm going to hit the Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems. I disagree.
Okay, I'm trying to give her the benefit of any little ounce of doubt, but that's just me.
But I do think, I will say this, I don't think that the response to this is pitchforks and torches and burn down the house
It's
or whatever.
hold
It
up.
needs to be okay, are you okay?
Yeah.
We need.
What do you mean by little man?
I think we need to have a talk here about where we're all at mentally, emotionally. How are we doing? Check up. This was very messed up and disrespectful. I optimistically checked the comments to see if maybe she called him her nephew. Nope, she was soaking up the congratulatory comments.
Ooh, okay,
oh my
you lost
God.
me. You lost me. All right, there you go. Yeah, I had some little bit of doubt.
So I sent sister-in-law a very angry message, calling her out on her blatant disregard for my husband and my feelings, then demanding she take down the photos of my baby and correct her lies. He's not her baby, he's my baby. She acted like she did nothing wrong and I was overreacting over nothing. I told her to cut the crap and stop claiming my son as her own. I got a phone call from my husband asking what was going on because he was getting messages from his sister saying, "Call your wife, she's attacking me." I explained to him how his sister is pretending to be mommy to our baby boy on Facebook. My husband took my side and told his sister, "You're on your own." Sister-in-law corrected her Facebook post, clarifying that the baby was her nephew and not her baby. She cried to their toxic family members who all agree with her and call me a bully.
What? So they're just enabling the cuckoo-ness.
Again, it's that's rough, man. This is rough. Needless to say, sister-in-law and I do not get along. We don't speak to each other much unless we have to in person. I'm always polite to her until her entitlement shows its ugly head. I will not allow sister-in-law near our son unless supervised by my husband or myself, which is probably good because it might be a raising Arizona type situation. I do not trust her. I feel like if she had the chance, she could take him. Yeah, I mean, and again, if you're really feeling that, this needs to be a mental health conversation.
1000%. Because this is getting out of line,
Yeah.
and the people who are enabling it and supporting it are just going to keep doing it until it's put out there.
We have an edit. Thank you for the comments. I appreciate your time. This happened 3 years ago, and it still bothers me to this day. When she's around, as rare as that is, our son does not want to be touched or near sister-in-law. He must sense something. Yeah, the babies and toddlers, they do have the sense, don't they?
They go, wah, for a reason.
She blames us for not letting her babysit him like we let mother-in-law. Mother-in-law acknowledges my daughter as an equal family member, but that's a different story. To clarify why I was so upset about sister-in-law calling our son her little man, it was because my husband and I gave our son the pet name Little Man when we found out we were having a boy. Right, I was about to say, so it's like what, so you get to give him the first nickname, and it's like, now that clicks a little bit.
See, that's when I was like, okay, now it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Sister-in-law did know this. A few comments on her post said, I didn't know you were pregnant. Congratulations. And she did not correct them, but liked them. To reassure you, sister-in-law and I mutually agree not to talk to each other on phone or text or be Facebook friends after a few different blow-ups between us when we were Facebook friends. I left my old Facebook and created a different one to be able to keep conversations and connections to loved ones and friends that live far away. Yes, I do have PTSD and a few other mental disorders or illnesses. I've come a long way from where I used to be. I have been healing while coping daily. I go to therapy and I sought out support groups online. I'm in a good place now compared to where I was years ago, months ago, and even days ago. Healing and coping is a process. I went full no contact with sister-in-law, but my husband is not so lucky because sister-in-law and sister-in-law's husband work at the same company as him. Plus, sister-in-law and sister-in-law's husband had to move in with mother-in-law and brother-in-law during the pandemic. I could keep going, but I will leave this post as is. I hope I helped clarify things, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or you can wait till my next post. And by the way, you don't even have to wait for our next post because
It just posted. Wow.
you can listen to full episodes.
And another one just posted.
With stories like this.
And another one.
All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts, and search OK Storytime. There you will find us, and there you can listen to us with your beautiful ears. And there is a little bit of story left. I think we've kind of hit all the main points.
I think you need, like, no contact for you and your sister-in-law, fine. But you need to give her a reality check via her brother, aka your husband, or someone else, mother-in-law, because this is not healthy, and everyone who's enabling it, like, it's not cute anymore.
Yeah, again, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not the professional clinical guy at all. But it's like the way, especially with like the people commenting in the Facebook post, like, "Oh, I didn't even know you were pregnant," and she doesn't correct it.
And she likes it. I guarantee she likes it.
There's a delusion there that's like needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And a lot of this negative behavior is probably coming from a place of like some kind of mental disorder surrounding her inability to get pregnant.
Yeah. And
it's
that
just too much. You gotta come at that from a place of support if you can.
And that's why brother has to do it. Any family member you need to talk to. But like, again,
it's not on you, OP. To be clear, it's not on you, OP, to get her that. It's a conversation that should be had between you and your partner, and then between your partner and her and his sister and their family. Yeah. Like, need to provide the support for her
before it gets worse.
Sounds like she needs.
Or it goes to another family member that she'll just do the same
thing.
Right,
you can't just keep kicking the can down the road. Let's finish this story. Edit number 2 to add clarification. Brother-in-law is a good person. He attempts to stay away from sister-in-law's drama and keep to himself. My daughter has autism and brother-in-law is so sweet with her. He tells her that it's okay to be different and tells her she's not alone, and he understands what she might be going through at school. God, that's wholesome. Besides my husband, brother-in-law is a good person stuck in a toxic family. When sister-in-law and sister-in-law's husband moved in with him and mother-in-law, brother-in-law has been suffering terribly, and it shows with the messages he sends his brother, my husband. Edit 3, when mother-in-law babysat our kids, she came to our home to watch them. Better for our daughter and son. And that is the end of that story.
Amazing.
And, again, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I think, this was OP kind of just getting it off their chest a little bit. But I really hope that sister-in-law, regardless of how, nasty she was coming off, she needed help. And I hope that she got it.
Sister-in-law stole our baby's name, but now she regrets it.
Maybe you shouldn't have been name thieving.
Hey y'all, long-time lurker and all that. This is a throwaway account. To cut to the chase, my wife and I spent 4 years trying to get pregnant before the wrong side of 35. We are currently 33, respectfully, now, and are blessed with a wonderful infant son. By the way, this comes from you, dad, who stood his ground on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So my wife has a younger half-sister that she has been been low contact with for some time. The woman is entitled and toxic and also her mother's golden child. We've refused to let her or my mother-in-law in the house since they both blatantly tried to make off with my wife's jewelry box a couple of years ago.
So not only are they name thieves, they are just thieves.
They are literally just thieves.
Oh, yeah.
The box contained a whole lot of valuable jewelry inherited from my wife's grandmother. Said jewelry is now in a safety deposit box as per my suggestion. My wife and I nearly given up trying to conceive when it suddenly happened. And we were ecstatic. After we found out we were having a boy, we started looking into names. I ended up suggesting the name of my Scottish grandfather. Don't know what that was.
Yeah, I'll let that one fly.
Thank
That's
you.
okay.
We're just gonna
go. Fly away.
And my wife loved it. So that's the name we settled on. But we made the mistake of posting about it on social media. Well, no surprise to the stereotype in this mess. My sister-in-law was pregnant too. And months further along than my wife and also having a boy. She decided to claim my grandfather's name for her own son. And not just the first name, but the middle name too. We called her, pissed over what she was doing, and she smugly told us there's nothing we can do about it. Which she sort of was right. There was nothing we could do about it. Legally, as it's still not a crime to steal planned baby names, we realized that drama was exactly what my sister-in-law wanted. And she thought by taking the name for herself, we'd not be able to use it. I laughed and told her that what she did was dirty and underhanded. We would keep our chosen name and she could just deal with it whether she decides to go through with copying us or not. Well, my sister-in-law's baby daddy called me and said I was an unreasonable wiener for still wanting to use the name after sister-in-law claimed it. I said he claimed nothing, and since we couldn't own the name, then neither could they. Before he ended the call, he threatened me by saying I'd be sorry if we didn't change the name. Then he hung up before I could respond. Months later, sister-in-law has a healthy baby boy and names him my grandfather's name. We did not show up for the birth, both because of the pandemic and because we simply didn't care to be there. Sister-in-law called us wanting congratulations, but we told her we simply didn't care, and that if she was still insisting we change our baby's name, then she'd be in for some big disappointment because we were not. Sister-in-law demanded I put my wife on the phone, but it was already on speaker, and my wife spoke up and said, no, I agree. We weren't changing the name. Sister-in-law hung up on us, but soon started sending emails with text walls of names, even suggesting similar ones. I responded back that the name was from my grandfather and that's why we were not changing it. She shut up and we didn't hear from her again until after our own son was born. 2 months later, we are blessed with our son. He came out perfect, and we named him just as we intended. Well, no surprise, my sister-in-law called us a few days after the birth to scream in our ears that we copied her son's name. I pointed out she was a real copycat. She had no familial ties to the name, and we did. And anyone who looks at our family trees could see that. Then my wife spoke and said after the attempted theft of her grandmother's jewelry, she no longer considered sister-in-law her sister.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X's. Well, let's get back to the story.
And would have nothing to do with her nephew either. For months, we are bombarded with messages and emails from my wife's side of the family. Half were on our side after finding out the whole story. And it's always like family members like never want to like check in and be like, I heard this, is this true? They just jump to like name calling, harassment. I'm not gonna like check if my information is right.
Right. Well, clearly these people are just self-centered a-holes. So
The other half were not. And sister-in-law's baby daddy, true to his word, showed up at my door to make me sorry. Now this is getting scary.
All right, let's get the police involved here.
Jesus. I'm not sure what his plan was, but I pretty much towered over him. I'm a 6'1" and well built from regular exercise and 3 trips to the gym a week. He on the other side was very skinny and about 5'6" with a baby face that was badly hidden by a slim beard. I told him my house has cameras and to get off my property and never come back. He just yelled a few obscenities at me like ungrateful wiener and drove off in his beat up old car. Sister-in-law and mother-in-law called us from a different number to yell at me for making sister-in-law's baby daddy feel emasculated. I didn't even threaten the man. Just told him to leave and not come back. And if he didn't want to feel emasculated, then he shouldn't have come knocking. Then they tried to bring up the issue of the baby's name and demanded we change our son's name as he's so young. They said there's still plenty of time to do it. We held our ground and told them that they were bonkers. Still think we're in the right, that you were in the right after they copied our choice of name just to try and get one over on us. I said sister-in-law didn't even name her son out of love, but out of spite. Just try to stick it to my wife for no good reason. Then my wife called them both out on the way she was treated growing up, how entitled sister-in-law and mother-in-law have always been, and how she was glad to leave them far behind. And she wants nothing from them, and they won't have anything from us. That left sister-in-law sobbing, and mother-in-law called me a royal bee before hanging up on the phone. That was no contact again for a little while still sister-in-law called us again sometime later to bitterly tell us we'd won. She and her baby daddy got in a huge fight, and he left. Apparently very sore that sister-in-law didn't let him even give their son a middle name from his family. And he said he was sick of the BS and wanted his son named after him and not some guy he wasn't even related to. So this is hilarious. So sister-in-law's husband, who is the one like physically threatening to like back up his sister,
Right,
naming
like,
the kid in spite, was actually like, on second thought, this is weird. I don't want to be a part of this. And also, he should be named after me.
What a guy. Look at this guy coming up with solutions.
Jeez.
We love to see it, right?
But if you want to be related to someone, you could be related to us by going to join us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Probably live right now, so just tap our profile. But there is a relevant update. Let's discuss.
Yeah, I think we've all said our piece here. I think we know exactly where we sit. It's like, and now as this shows, all of this could have just been fixed if the dad was just like, oh, hey, what do I actually think about this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, can we name our kid after me since I'm his dad?
But I love that it wasn't just like, I don't want to be a part of this naming in spite. It was like, I want him to be named after me.
Right.
Which is like, I don't know.
It was good. He saw the light. It was like the beam of sunlight like shined down on his head, and he like wait a minute, I can solve all of this right now. And then he did.
I don't think it was a solve. I think it was just like, this is weird, and also like, I want it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care about any of this. I want it to be my name.
Yeah. So sister-in-law finally caved, and they got the boy's birth certificate reissued with a completely new name.
Okay.
Which costs sister-in-law around $500 or so, she claims. Sister-in-law then demanded, shut up. Sister-in-law then demanded we at least compensate her for the name change, plus another $100 for the emotional damage, as she's now going to have to get used to calling her son by a different name.
They need to be studied. Put these people in a lab and study them. Because they gotta be from another planet if they're thinking that that's a normal thing.
I go into every stream. I have a long drive. I go into every stream and I go, you know what? Today I'm really gonna empathize with people I don't understand. I'm gonna try my best to do that for the audience so that we could all together try to make the effort to understand people. It's hard to understand. And then every stream I read the story and there's no explanation. And I go, I take it back. I can't make sense of this.
I take it back. I can't do it today.
I can't do it today.
I'll have to do it tomorrow.
And then I go home and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be better next time.
I think all that needs to be said is clearly like the childhood sibling dynamic plays a heavy role here. I would assume
100%. Yeah, yes. We laughed, which is an appropriate response, and said this would have never happened if she hadn't stolen our baby name to begin with, and we didn't owe her anything. Since then, we've been no contact with sister-in-law and mother-in-law, but my father-in-law, who's a very nice man and divorced from mother-in-law for obvious reasons, would come by often and love his grandson. From what he and other relatives told us, the situation between sister-in-law and her baby daddy was pretty tumultuous, but we don't care. Not our monkeys, not our circus.
No way. We had double not our monkeys, not our circus. That's crazy.
What,
we just had that again in the last story.
Wait, they said that?
Yeah.
I don't remember them saying
Yeah,
that.
they did. I read it.
Oh, cool.
I remember.
Wow.
That's
All right.
crazy. We already know exactly where we're at here.
Okay, cool. Done with the story.
Yes. That is that.
My adult sister's baby talking is making me insane, so I asked her to stop.
Aw, you don't like it? You don't like the baby talk?
You like baby talk?
Goo goo gaga.
Oh my gosh. Really, Reddit, for this one, as I genuinely don't know if I'm the a-hole. Throwaway, as my sister has read it, all fake names. My 34 sister, 27, Alana, has been somewhat infantile. Infantile? Infantile. New
There we go.
word. What's up with that? But in the last year, she stepped up her game in the category of nonsense baby talk. She was seeing a guy last year who I think liked it, which might be why she's literally every second sentence, and it's driving me nuts. By the way, this comes from Am I the A-hole Sister Act on the r/OK story time. Some examples. She arrived at my house and asked if she could put some juice in the fridge. I didn't even know what she's saying.
Oh, you
Turns
had to do
out she wanted to put my juice in my fridge. Oh, on seeing a 6-month-old crying, she loudly said, "Oh no, don't cry. Don't do that." And she's asked if we've had any ice in the fridge. Ice in the freezer. You get the idea. It's endless and very annoying. My older sister, 35 female, Esty, and I have chosen to combat this by pretending we don't know what she means until she says it correctly. My mom does nothing about it, as Alana is the youngest and always babied a bit. Mom has even translated the baby talk for me and Etsy when we are pretending we don't understand. Anyway, yesterday Alana was at my house for my birthday, and the baby talk was dialed up to 100.
Oh no.
We had giant cookie for a cake. And later in the evening, Alana handed my husband a plate and requested a slice of the cake of cooks.
Oh god.
A slice of the cookie cake. This was too much for me, and I told her to stop with the made up words. She replied, "But it's cute."
Cute thing that the boyfriend did with her, but she's taking it way too far. Way too far.
Yeah. I informed her that this was not cute and asked her to cut it out. She refused and told me I can do whatever I want and nobody can tell me what to do. Or something along those lines, which my mom agreed. Then I said that she needs to make sure not to use the nonsense words in front of my 6-month-old, as I don't want her learning the right words.
Oh gosh.
Which was really just an excuse to stop her from doing it. Alana pointed out that Etsy used made-up words with her 2-year-old. Etsy says tumor instead of tummer instead of tummy, but that's the only one she could think of. I said that what Etsy does with her daughter is irrelevant because I'm the only one asking Alana to stop, but that might not be relevant, but I am adding for full transparency. When my husband reappeared with the cake, I refused to let Alana have it until she asked for it properly. She gave me a death glare, but did ask properly, a bet sulkily. My am I the a-hole is twofold here. Was I the a-hole to withhold the cake until she asked for it like an adult? And was I the a-hole for telling her to stop talking nonsense in the first place? She is, after all, a fully grown adult who can do what she likes, but I honestly can't tell you how irritating it is to hear nonsense talk all the time from a 27-year-old woman, and she had dialed it up to an 11 for some reason. My mom agreed with Alana, obviously, and Etsy wasn't there, but agreed with me when she was told what happened, as did my husband. I love to put my foot down and tell her to cut it out every time, but I need the judgment on Reddit for this, as I don't know if I'm blinded by my unreasonableness by how annoying it is. And we gotta edit. Thanks for all the comments. I'm reading through them on and off while looking after my daughter, and some of them are really making me laugh. To answer a few questions, yes, I've addressed this with her before, as has Etsy. This is just the first time I've flat out refused to follow up on what she said. She pulled the "but you do it with your daughter" card on Etsy before too, so clearly she thinks it's a good argument. The only people present were me, my mom, Alana, and my husband. It was just a low-key thing, no big crowd. Etsy and her husband joined later via Zoom. We played Joke Boat on Jackbox. I came 5th. Alana is generally very sweet and fun, but definitely immature and can be super annoying. This gets on my very last nerve very quickly, and I can be hard on her. Hence, am I the a-hole? Usually my husband is good at pointing out if I'm being harsh, but he was totally on my side here. Yes, I use the I am sister names on purpose, and yes, I'm smug. I get to be Daniela. I don't even know what that means.
Those are the it's a band. Remember when we went to the Spotify event?
Yeah.
It was the 3 girls DJing. It was those girls.
Haim?
Yeah.
It was those girls?
Yeah.
She's mentioning those girls?
Yeah.
Dude, Haim's big. I don't know you.
Yeah.
I had no clue. It's just like, oh, it's like 3 random chicks. It's like one DJ with her sister. It's cool. That's what I thought.
No. They are like in Taylor Swift songs and stuff.
Yeah, they were
The
looking
Eras
Calvin
tour, dude.
Harris and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, my mom just came over and I spoke to her. She agreed very quickly that it's annoying AF, but said that Alana is working on standing up for herself, and my mom wanted to support that. I was like, sure, but pick your battles. My mom agreed and said she will talk to her when it's just them, as she thought that agreeing with me in the moment would have made Alana defensive and she wouldn't have listened, which is probably true. I mentioned what some commenters had said about it being my house and me being able to ask her to stop, but she agreed with this and reiterated that she would talk to Alana. That's all I have for now, and I'm going to talk to Etsy, and I think we're going to go for talk to her seriously / treat her like an adult approach and try to be a bit kinder about it. Thanks again for the comments. Etsy and I are feeling very vindicated. We got an update.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is a good point. She may get defensive, but you can't
Just
entertain this.
listen.
Mom, you can't entertain this.
I know, they really can't. I think the only way that she would actually stop is if everyone's like, oh my God, it's so annoying.
The second she opens her mouth, like, God,
Stop it.
stop.
Listen. I'm going to go on the record and say sometimes bullying works.
Update.
Update.
As I said before, Etsy and I feel incredibly vindicated by the judgment and the comments in general, as we are always being told by our mom not to be hard on poor Alana. It's got to the point where we don't even rip into her like we do each other, which is a shame, as we are English and our primary love language is insults and sarcasms. Anyway, I digress. I got my chance to confront Alana on Saturday evening. Peak time of the week, when Alana and my mom came over for another round of Jackbox, and Alana asked me if I liked her new jump.
Oh no.
I replied, "You're what?" And she leveled me with a slightly smug, unblinking stare. My mom jumps in and tells me she means her jumper. And Alana interrupts her, saying she knows what I mean. I can say jump if I like. So mom did nothing.
Mom did nothing.
Zip zabbity zero.
Yeah, not at all.
That's mommy's little baby.
It's mommy's widow
You like my
baby.
new jump? I thought she was gonna be like, "You like my new jump?"
Yeah. That was a really high jump.
I thought she was gonna do that.
I thought she was gonna do like a little jump and be like try to be like stupid with it or something.
Angie, you
But-
do fashion design. Has anyone
Yes.
ever called it a jump? A jump or a jump?
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Clearly, she had decided to double down, but I
Oh.
had my Reddit voices in my ears, and
There you
I
go.
was prepared. I asked her to stop talking in nonsense words, and she told me that it's a thing that all millennials do, and that I needed to get over it, and said that I do it too, and gave a Prosecco as an example. Prosecco.
What's
Okay.
that?
It's a drink.
Yeah,
Got it.
Prosecco.
I disagreed and then told her that I've been Googling it. Translation, I've asked a bunch of Redditors, and that
It's the
it
same
made me wonder if she's doing it as a reaction to no longer being the youngest in the family anymore. She was very affronted by this, telling me that she had been doing it in a way, telling me she had been doing it way longer than the arrival of the kids. I said that she'd been doing it much more recently. My mom agreed with me.
Finally.
Alana
Finally.
looked livid at this point and kept spluttering that it wasn't the case. I then said that my Google Reddit research, I read that it could be a comfort for anxiety, and asked her if that is what that was. She seemed very annoyed about my trying to diagnose her or make it into an issue. In my opinion, she was trying to be cute and funny, and I was ruining it with my concern for her well-being.
That's a great way to go about it.
She told me that I was being very weird for thinking it's a big deal and for Googling it. I said I was doing this because she's far too old to be talking like Yoda baby. I then said that if it wasn't a reaction to anxiety, could she please stop? Because it annoys me a lot and I don't want to be annoyed when I hang out with her. Full props to Reddit for my paraphrasing here. And we have more stories just like this on our podcast platforms. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We got tons of crazy stories just like this. Holy cow. What? Okay, so she's getting at her mentally. She's like,
Yeah.
I feel like we're about to like crack open the nut here.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to do it. Cause like that one person suggested, like ask if it's a kink, you
Yeah.
know? Like it's going like the opposite way, a little more PG way of
Yeah.
doing that. You know, it's like, so why are you doing this? What is mentally like going on? Do you need help? Are you okay? You know?
Yeah.
Cause it's very possible that there is, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that could ruin the fun for her.
Yeah.
She's just like reacts in a very concerned way every time she does that. She's just like, She's doing it again. That poor girl.
How's your anxiety these days?
Yeah.
Do you need
You okay?
You are doing all right?
How have you been?
I could see her brain whirling as she tried to calculate a reason to say no, but in the end, my mom quietly interjected with, "That's a reasonable request, isn't it?" And Alana gave a hefty, defeated sigh and said, "Fine." It said, "Fine." I said, "Thank you." And we swiftly move on.
Yay.
I'm hopeful that that's the end of it. I am so glad I turned to Reddit for this one, as all the advice worked perfectly, and I'm going to try to keep it in mind with my interactions with Alana going forward.
Wow. Finally, we got through to her. Oh my goodness.
Shoot, dude, that
Oh
was...
my goodness.
I was
She's
worried.
still gonna do it behind closed doors.
You think so?
I'm sure. But honestly, I like if I knew someone like that, it's like, do it on your own time. I can't be around you if you're gonna do that. I don't want to be in childcare when I'm just hanging out with my sister. Didn't sign up to babysit you.
Yeah, that's it, man.
My sister sets an ultimatum for my baby's gender reveal, so I set my own demands.
You have now entered negotiations with a master.
My girlfriend, female 26, and I, male 29, found out in August that we were going to be parents to our first child. Generally, everyone was very happy about the news. By the way, this comes from Primary Tumbleweed 89 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I felt shocked because at the time, it wasn't planned. I called my mother for reassurance and it helped. She wasn't happy. I told her over the phone call, which I understand, and I'm a likely a-hole for. I apologize, and we put it behind us. My sister has been supportive. She helped us move to a new house, wanted to take my partner out baby shopping in a few weeks. However, my mother was less helpful. We had a FaceTime mid-August about housing options, and then my mother randomly asked me if my partner was on the pill. I said yes, and I've seen her take it, and she asked if I was sure, almost like she was insinuating that I was baby trapped.
Are you sure that wasn't a little breath mint she was taking?
I have had worries about my sister. I'm happy she's excited, but I feel sometimes she's too much. She was talking about having the baby every weekend so we could do stuff as a couple, and I said we have to consider both families. She was also concerned about us moving a bit closer to my girlfriend's family instead of mine. She said I wouldn't get as much support and questioned the support from my partners as her mother lives 2 hours away. I said she comes down every weekend to look after her mother with dementia. We'll be fine. My sister offered to pay for our gender reveal scam. We both thought this was a lovely gesture and said yes. My sister understandably wanted to come because she's paying for it. I think that's allowed. And my sister told me that the one she was booking allowed up to 5 people to come and suggested we bring my mom along. I then said if she's coming, then my girlfriend's mom should come too. She disagreed because it's the only involvement they'll have during the pregnancy, and my girlfriend's family will be at other events. We said it's not about who we're including, it's about having support during a personal appointment, and my girlfriend doesn't want only all my family there. My mom previously said either it's just my family or no scan. I said fine, we'll pay for it ourselves.
Yeah, that's an easy decision right there.
Yeah, I'm kicking you out ASAP. My sister then messaged my girlfriend to explain her reasoning, which left her in tears. She also said my family likes to do things separate and they're a bit antisocial. They think meeting my girlfriend's mom at the scan will be awkward. We think this kind of reasoning is selfish and not putting our wishes first. My mom and sister are getting me to understand their reasoning. I do understand it. I just don't agree with it. My girlfriend's mom isn't bothered by them not wanting her there, just more by how it's affected us. She told me not to worry about them and hug me. She said she's happy to pay for it and for me to invite whoever I want. This is a post here because despite many agreements about our side of things, I have doubt because my sister was going to pay for it and I was considering my dad, but my girlfriend's mom believes that that would anger my family. Am I the a-hole? So it seems like it's like a disagreement about the guest list for this scan.
Which at this point, if I'm OP, I'm like, no one's coming to the scan. You've all lost scan privileges and you will have to have the gender revealed to you at, I'm assuming they'll do some kind of
just
party
live stream it, you know,
or something, make some kind of event out of it.
We got an edit and an update. So in conclusion, not the a-hole. To elaborate on a few things, the phone call with my mom, it wasn't an initial reaction of how dare I tell her on the phone. She was happy, said congrats based on if we were deciding to keep it at the time. It was only found out she wasn't too happy when we recorded my sister's reaction. And at this event, I told my mother that I was driving to my dad's to see him the next day. My mom doesn't think my dad does enough for me. We see each other rarely in person, maybe like once or twice a year, but we get on fine. It was his first time being a grandfather and my mother's fourth time. My sister has 3 kids already. She's desperate for a fourth of her own, but my brother-in-law keeps telling her no. My mom, when I mentioned this, suggested just FaceTiming him, but I said no. And then she said, so he gets a live surprise and I get a phone call?
Yeah, there it is.
I told her I needed initial support and sorry she found out this way. People have asked what's the situation with my dad. Him and my mom have been divorced for 24 years. He wasn't the kindest to my mother at the time, and I had a stepmother who kept driving a wedge between my dad and I, who has been out of the picture for a few years now. I've told him about this situation, and he thinks they're being ridiculous. I get people telling me I need a backbone. And yeah, it's something I've worked harder in therapy to get over. To provide a little backstory, I was an impressionable kid who was suspected of autism at a young age. My mom refused to take me to get assessed because she felt at the time that I should learn alongside the other neurotypical kids. This obviously didn't work because I constantly questioned myself. And with the aid of people like my sister reminding me of the little mistakes I made, it continued to knock my confidence back. It seems like the sister has been a problem child from the beginning.
Yeah, it seems like there has been conflict, a long history of conflict here.
It was only until a breakup, which happened when I was 23 and a downward spiral of depression, that I got more help. Doctor said I didn't have autism, but more likely anxiety.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
Mom and sister insist I do because they think I'll get more support, but linking it with stuff in the post, it feels like grooming. And I push back on several occasions just to let me be. I get comments about how something I did was autistic thing, which I said stop to. My sister has 2 kids diagnosed with autism and 1 kid with ADHD, and she works for an autism charity. I went on Prozac after being diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I was also with an ex at the different time and saw subtle controlling methods through that, and we didn't work out afterwards. That was something my family helped me through, but I'm getting that narcissistic people can often not get along with other narcissistic people because they'll try and expose the other person to make themselves look better. So my growing up was conflicted because on one hand, there was nitpicking and on the other, care that seemed genuine. My mom has also suffered abusive relationships and grieved through the death of a partner, so I pinned weird behavior on that. There's a comment somewhere in here which explains a list of stuff my sister did a few years ago, which stopped her going to my mom and dad's wedding. And now I'm with a beautiful human being to start a family with, and while it's a shame my family couldn't be cooperative and understanding, she and our baby come first, and we need each other first and foremost. No one is dictating to us about who cares for them or anything else. I called my mom out for what she said about the baby trap. She apologized to me, but not to my partner who overheard conversation. Ever since then, she's been distant. Writing this now, I'm wondering to myself why I'm even letting her come to the scan if my partner's mom comes after her behavior. My mom backpedals a lot, says something that would annoy or upset someone, and then says it was a joke. Sounds like she just has a bad filter and then in post is like, oh, take that from the record.
Yeah, can we actually roll that back?
Yeah, roll that back.
That was a funny. Judging from everyone's reaction, I didn't mean anything that I said.
I've since told her there was backpedaling, but she denied it. My mom's weird views on separating from my partner's family stems from her own anxiety, I believe. We believe she's on the spectrum. She's in denial about it. We've seen moments of her having some sensory overload moments, being obsessed with specific topics, mostly conspiracy theories, lack of filter at times, and struggle to see things from others' point of view. My sister, I believe, wants to be seen as the best guardian, very possibly parents, and sees her family as a threat. And there is an update. Hi all, quick update, but a fair bit has happened in the last 24 hours and it is not good. First of all, thank you to everyone for your advice. I took it on board, especially the stuff about setting our boundaries now and not taking any more manipulation. There were some people questioning the need for a reveal scan. We just thought it would be nice for our first child. I understand that's not for everyone's liking, but that's what we want to do. Anyway, my sister called me on Sunday. I explained that my girlfriend should be allowed to have whomever she wants there. That is called great support.
Yes.
She reiterated the awkwardness of it at the scan, so I suggested a coffee meetup, which she said she'd chat to my mom about. My mom turned it down and said it was too formal. Nothing is good enough for you.
Yeah, straight up. It's like, stop. I don't care what your critiques are at this point. You are just going to
Just come and
listen
support.
and accept the conditions. That's it.
In her words, I'm sure I'll meet them someday. She suggested we have 2 separate scans for each of the family. I turned this down because I thought that was gross. My girlfriend is not a test subject for other people's enjoyment. Then I said, we'll book our own and invite who we want or just have it be us. She then turned passive aggressive and said, fine, you do what you want. I've been nothing but supportive and my girlfriend is going to want her family there for everything. I said, this isn't true. She said she wants both families involved. Knowing that they continue to try and make offers for the scan, I sent them a long message to both of them in a group chat. I've added the screenshots on the Insane Siblings subreddit, which you can see on my profile. And as you can see in the reply from my sister, she attempted to gaslight me into feeling bad. After she said we part ways, I blocked her on everything. I'm not having that kind of influence in my life, and certainly not subjecting my girlfriend to it, especially if they're not going to respect our boundaries. My mom called me a short time after and told me the message was condescending, cold, and formal. Oh, now this message is formal. And didn't understand why I was overreacting about the scan. Told me not to interrupt. Even a message I sent her, which was among the same lines as the one in the screenshot. I told her it's not about the scan. About the over-involvement in general. Clearly, my sister left details out because she didn't know about my sister wanting to look after the baby every weekend and being insecure about the support from my girlfriend's family. She said we should all meet up to chat. I'm not having them bully me, though. If I'm there to chat, I'm having someone in my corner. She said she didn't want us arguing, but I said the ball is in my sister's court. My mom is attempting to play peacemaker and has sided with my sister's erratic behavior, so neither of them I feel like I can really trust. As for the scan, my girlfriend and I booked our own scan, and we're having a reveal party next weekend where everyone is welcome.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly, that's probably the best. Although right now, I'm not inviting my mom and sister. I've explained the situation to my dad, and he's disgusted at them. My sister and I have different dads. Edit, sorry, I forgot to add, you're right that I should not have apologized to my mom for how I broke the news to her. He often comments on how my dad doesn't come down to see me, and it's mostly me going up there. My dad and I do talk, and when I go up there, he often wants to pay for everything, no questions asked. I don't take this for granted, of course. I get rounds of being in to or chip in for takeaway. Either way, I'm happy with the relationship my dad and I have. We've had issues in the past, but we move forward. Also re-uploaded a screenshotted text message reply from my sister to my profile since it keeps getting taken down on the sub for spam. Although Reddit kept blanking the images, so I've added an imager link to them. And update 2, since my last update, both my sister and mom have contacted me via text. I borrowed $50 from my sister to help fix my car. My girlfriend and I spent a lot of time moving and my tire blew. Good timing. I said I'd pay her back on payday, which was Thursday. Her text asked me for the money back and also said, I sent the money and I have kids to feed, basically trying to make me out to be a thief. I suspected it was to try to get a reaction out of me, but I silently paid her back the money. Left at that. I want my distance from her, but I'm not a thief. Then she texted my girlfriend, even though in my long message I added on Imager to both of them, specifically told them not to message her in regards to this stuff. The message said she hopes the scan went well. She thinks it was this weekend for some reason, even though she was originally going to book it for the 15th, and we have it booked for the 15th. She also told her not to be upset about any of this and wants us both to be happy. I suspect she's fishing for information, and it's clear she cares more about the baby than her own relationship. My girlfriend hasn't responded. My nan texted me earlier in the week because of the issues with Reddit uploading my images. I'll post the contents of the chat here. Here is the quote. I hardly ever involve myself, but I love you all and I want to put it right. Before sister knew all the people in school, I went to every meeting with her. She feels socially shy meeting new people, so like mom, I was her comfort blanket. I've now stepped back. Please mend this rift. I think she realizes that you need space. She's breaking her heart. Hold out your hand. Her intentions are good. You made your point, but she adores you and thinks a lot of my girlfriend. My love to you both always. Please mend this rift. So grandma is now like...
Grandma's getting involved.
Grandma's getting involved.
Grandma's being like, you're tearing me
apart.
apart.
Is this dementia grandma too?
No, I think this is just tactical.
Well, no. But like,
Does she have? Wait, is she?
Because I remember there was someone who was taking care of a dementia.
I think this.
No, that was on the sister side. That was on the sister side.
Yeah.
That was on the or the
exactly
the girlfriend side.
Yes, the girlfriend side. You know, and this is why sometimes as you get older, you get wiser.
Yeah.
And grandma said, I know exactly how to tactically.
And
put
it
an end
seems
to this.
like what grandma is saying. Oh, the sister's just super shy, and that's why she didn't want anyone over. And like this is something that's been happening throughout her whole life. And like I was her security blanket back in the day.
Yeah. So she's like,
school.
I'm giving you the sneak peek into what you might not understand.
Yeah.
Because we all have vulnerabilities and insecurities and like things. We all have our own, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like just because the sister's anxious doesn't mean that she like is allowed to have this kind of control.
No. And you don't,
It's
just
more
because
of
someone has
an issue of
insecurities and
understanding.
problems, doesn't mean you have to invite their insecurities and problems into your life. I left it a day, but I replied back that it's not my rift to mend. I don't want any breakups in the family, but I want my space. They've hurt me and controlled me too many times, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. My nanny replied saying she understands and won't take sides. My mom messaged me yesterday morning saying she hopes I'm okay, and also thinking the scan was this weekend, saying she's away, so wouldn't be able to make it. She wanted to come, but is now away, lol. She wanted to catch up in a week and talk. Nothing more than that. But it doesn't look like either of them have any remorse for the way they've behaved, and if you want to behave like the good little girl and little boy that you are, you should listen to our podcast where we release these stories every single day, and you can listen to them while, doing laundry, freaking working, driving. It could just be in your ear holes 24/7.
Any podcast platform, just search OK Storytime and you will find
Shebang.
the whole kit and caboodle.
But we got a little bit more to this story, a little update. So the gender reveal. I would have been happy with either gender, but today was beautiful with so many supportive people. Haven't spoken with either my mom or my sister since falling out and not told them any details, but we're happy to have so many supportive people around, including my dad and my younger siblings who traveled down for today.
Was that in the story?
What's that there?
I didn't put that there.
Why is there one of the blue guys from the Eiffel? That's Eiffel 49 or whatever.
How is that there?
I'm blue. That is one of those guys.
That is where that story ends.
Well, I guess
I'm so happy that's
maybe
there.
he was sad
Oh my goodness.
because he's blue.
Is that I want to say like someone put that in this story.
I caught my mother-in-law disrespecting my boundaries. My husband cut contact with her. I posted this months ago and removed it quickly after suddenly fearing my mother-in-law would see it. But who cares, I guess? So here we go. I'll start by saying that I'm sorry for any grammatical errors. English is my second language after Francais. Heads up, this is a long one, but I'd appreciate the insight. By the way, this comes from user Organic Education 11.6 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I, 30-year-old female, and my common law partner, 34-year-old male, had our 14-month-old baby looked after for the first time by my mother-in-law, 54-year-old female, and my sister-in-law, 35-year-old female. We will call them mother-in-law and sister-in-law for simplicity.
Nice.
Okay, cool. I like that. I was very insecure about leaving our baby with mother-in-law, but she was our only option, and we needed a sitter that evening. My family lives on the other side of the country, and we are both shift workers who couldn't reorganize our schedules this time. HCP and law enforcement. My son doesn't see his grandmother much, although she lives 9 minutes away. She doesn't come over to spend time with him when she is at our house, and her other grandchildren, female 2.5 years and female 6 months, are also present. She will take care of her 2 granddaughters, but is mostly uninterested in our son. I assumed her disinterest was related to the fact that her daughters require more help from their mother. Both are no longer with the baby daddy. One of them works 70 plus hours a week and the other is on welfare. To be fair, I'm okay with her not interacting as much with our son because some of the family patterns between mother-in-law and my 2 sister-in-laws seem a little toxic. Nevertheless, I make an effort to involve my mother-in-law in our life. I send crafty cards for holidays, send pictures, message her about important milestones, and invite her over to bond with my son. The first few years of my relationship with my partner, my mother-in-law did not like me out of solidarity for my partner's ex-girlfriend whom she adored. I would like my eyes to roll all the way back in my head, please.
Do it. Let's
I
see it.
know
Try it.
where
I can't.
this is about to go.
Yeah.
Try it. At least try it.
I think we both do.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, I respected her grief of the relationship and thought she would eventually come around, and she did. She apologized for treating me poorly. For context, my partner and I have been together for almost 5 years. He and his ex were together for 1 year, and they lived in different states for 6 months out of that year. I am not the reason they separated. Well, there goes what I thought was going to happen is now out the window. It has to be. I assume for you as well, based on your face.
Oh, I just think the ex is about to show up a lot more.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that at all. Ooh, that'd be crazy. So, in the past, my mother-in-law broke my trust. For example, I saw her give a bottle of formula to my niece while she was helping her daughter in the postpartum period. Her daughter had specifically asked to be woken up to breastfeed. I minded my own business at the time, not wanting to cause a scene. A few years later, I witnessed my mother-in-law giving meat to my vegetarian niece behind her own daughter's back. At that point, I felt like I had to disclose this information to the child's mother out of respect. This situation got out of control. My mother-in-law was livid and lied about the incident, stating it never happened. We talked it out, and I took most of the blame for, quote, not minding my own business. Things were okay, or so I thought. Since that incident, she has not responded to any of my text messages, but will send a response to my significant other instead. Ugh, that's so toxic. She organizes all family events by checking in only with my significant other, knowing full well that I'm the one who manages our family calendar, and she used to come to me. At family dinners and events, she acts as if she likes me very much. Going back to the babysitting story. Before leaving, we gave only one instruction: do not put our son to bed. We had specified several times that we would put him to bed when we returned and made sure he napped later that day to accommodate for the 1 hour later bedtime. We explained that our son was going through a lot of changes with my recent return to work and that we preferred to keep his bedtime routine with dad to reduce his separation anxiety. She accepted. Context: it took 12 months of maternity leave, and my significant other works mostly evenings. I breastfed and took care of all sleep duties. Our son was having a hard time adjusting to me being at work, as well as teething and showing the typical fear of stranger at this age, which I think is in reference to the new kid? Or like fear of being a stranger?
Kids. They have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's one kid. No, sorry. It's one kid, and they were teething, and then also it's like they're trying to get used to the world.
No, I think
what the world looks like.
I think do they not have 2 kids?
They have 1 kid.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They were going through. Yeah.
Okay. My partner and I had security cameras installed in the house after a break and enter. Mother-in-law did not know this. We did not intend on eavesdropping during the evening. The cameras are just always on when we leave. A few hours later, I received a message from my mother-in-law. She put my son to bed, stating that he had not cried at all and fell asleep in 8 minutes.
All right. That's great.
Context: that's how long it takes me, and she knows this.
Takes her 8 minutes to put the son to bed.
Yeah.
So it's intentional.
I mean, like,
she knows remedy. It's 2 songs and a little story.
Or is she lying? Was there a big kerfuffle? She said, "Oh, he went to sleep, no problem."
Took 8 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like because she said that exact number, she's like, "Wait, did he really go down?" And I bet you they're gonna look at the cameras, and it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory. So I was frustrated at this point and felt that my boundary had not been respected. I also had doubts that it went as well as she said. I was ashamed, but when I got home, I re-listened to the bedtime routine to see how it went. Shocker! She lied to me. He cried so much, he screamed for his mom, and it took her forever to put him to sleep. He fell asleep from exhaustion. My heart broke.
Dang.
Oh, yeah, no. You're done. You're done. You and me, we're done professionally, mother-in-law. You're messing with my baby? You're messing with my child? You're done. With my doubts confirmed, I listened to the rest of the evening. Not only did she purposefully put him to bed only to make me angry, we can hear mother-in-law say to sister-in-law, "All right, I'm going to put him to bed. She's going to be livid." She then proceeds to laugh. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're done. Done.
Once our son is asleep, she proudly tells sister-in-law that she's going to text me, and she is impatiently waiting for my response. Then she laughs and calls me bat crazy. Context, I responded something like, he was very tired today. That must have helped him settle. I'm glad it went well.
Dude, Chira just said in the chat, post the recording on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Expose her.
I would definitely... this is petty behavior, especially if you're like, you're weaponizing the kid to try to make me upset. Dude, you're going to awaken the demon.
The mama bear.
Come on. Come on. She spent the evening belittling me to my sister-in-law. She tried to get my son to walk so that I would miss his first steps because it would hurt me. See, no, okay, so there are 2 kids. There are 2 kids.
Got it.
I think that's why the first kid, the older kid's upset because he's still adjusting to the new kid being there. Okay. She tried to make me miss his first steps because it would hurt me and then started laughing. My son was crying and looking for me, and she never reassured him. She tried to make him say grandma every time he cried out for his mama. I shared this recording with my partner, and he was understandably angry and very hurt. He supports me all the way. He confronted his mother and chose to no longer have a relationship with her. Yeah, and she earned that. She did not deny any of it and said she wouldn't apologize since she meant all of it, and that would make her a hypocrite.
All right, at least she has some moral standing.
At least I have the morals to just be a piece of crap person and not lie about it.
Not a hypocritical piece of crap person.
I'm not a hypocrite. No, I stand on my terrible behavior.
Thanks.
God, what a weird thing to say. She also said, I was trying to take her son away. He wants to move 40 minutes away to the country, which I can't imagine why. I offered to hear her out and talk. I won't forgive or forget, but I'd be willing to be civil if I needed to be in a room with her. She will never babysit or be alone with our son ever again. By the way, we don't want you to be alone, which is why I want to let you know you can listen to stories just like this one on any of your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or really any place where you can find a podcast. All you got to do is search up OK Storytime, and you'll find more stories like this one. We have a little bit more left of this story. I feel like we've pretty much hit the nail on it. I mean, after this, I think it's black hole, not even the sun. She's earned that spaghetti. She's lost any right, any privilege to ever see this kid ever again, or to see them, the parents. It's over. It is. Oh, there's no going back from that.
There's really not. And the kid's at such an impressionable age that they're crying. And what about, it's going to be so hard to leave the kid now after this.
No, it's that's monstrous, no emotions behavior from the grandma. So let's finish this story off. It has been 5 months, and we haven't heard a thing from her. What should I do? I feel like the longer we ignore this, the more she's building hate towards me, the more my significant other has a broken family, and she's also lying to everyone about why she hasn't seen us in months. Ah, okay. So I'll tell you right now, you release the footage to those who need to see it.
Right.
Don't worry about breaking the family.
Yep, no.
She broke the family by doing what she did while taking care of your kid. Yeah. No, she needs to be completely out of the picture, and you should get ahead of it. And if she is spreading lies about you, show them the footage.
Yep.
Be like, I didn't want to do this, but I was pushed to this point.
And if you want to keep it private, email everyone. You know what to put on social media.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, put it directly to the inbox.
Yep.
So let's see what some of these comments say. I'm sure they're agreeing with our sentiments here. Comment number 1, you aren't ignoring anything. Your husband made the smart choice without you having to plead for it, the choice that will save you a great deal of grief in the long run. Accept it. Your husband can tell his family what she did. The reply, I agree. You've gone no contact. And to be clear, this is a reply from another commenter, not from OP. I agree. You've gone no contact. This isn't ignoring anything. Ignoring would be if you were still in contact while ignoring the issue. Don't let what others think bother you. If someone reaches out, you have an opportunity to convey your side. We have this as a very minor issue, being no contact with my husband's mother. If anyone comments, we let them briefly know why he made the decision, but we don't let it take up real estate in our minds. And he's much better off for it. I say minor because his family know that his mom is kind of like that and that she won't seek help because everyone else is the problem and not her. Another reply that says, yep, you nailed it. There's lots of stories on here where the spouse sides with their parent. OP, you're fortunate to have a husband who did the right thing and cut off his toxic mother. What should you do? Nothing. A second comment, why are you even considering giving her a second chance to abuse your child? Her own son cut her off because of what she did. Hopefully you saved the footage just in case she tries to spin the truth later. And I feel like all the rest of these comments are just going to be the exact same thing, which is, yeah, no contact is great.
Mm-hmm.
And you and every other member of your family is better off not having this woman in their life.
Agreed. And everyone's saying both, no contact and expose her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Sorry.
I agree
Both.
with that. That makes sense.
My sister told me her baby's name and I laughed. Now I'm not going to the shower.
Ooh, I bet it was stupid.
Probably a stupid name. My sister is due after in early January and we're planning her baby shower for early December. She decided she wanted to use my mother's maiden name, Rafferty, as her daughter's name, not a Tragedeigh itself. And I guess it works out as a unique name. By the way, this comes from Cooler Beans 1981 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So yesterday, I text my sister that I need to get the custom items with my niece's name ordered ASAP so they arrive in time for the shower. My sister then let me know they're going with an alternative spelling of Rafferty. I texted back an alternative spelling of our mother's maiden name. My sister wants to spell it Ray Farty.
No.
R-A-E-F-A-R-T-Y. Ray Farty. So I sent back a bunch of laughing emojis and she asked, what's so funny? I tried to explain that no one will pronounce that as Rafferty and she'll probably get plenty of the same mispronunciations. She told me I was being ridiculous. I texted back, my poor niece, little Miss Farty Ray. I was uninvited to the shower and my mom told me today my sister doesn't want me as the godmother anymore. But like, Ray Farty is really bad, isn't it? Someone needs to tell her, right? I don't know if updates are allowed here, but here it is. And sorry it's long, and I've been having a hard time submitting it. Is there a character limit? I'll try posting some and put the rest in the comments. So we had an intervention on Ray Farty. I know everyone said to send a link to the original post to my sister to show her that 103% of the global population would call her daughter Ray Farty, and that would be the easiest thing to do. But some commenters said some pretty gnarly things about my sister that she doesn't need to read and feel worse about herself. But I wanted to address a few things that came up. First, for those saying I shouldn't bother paying for the baby shower anymore, I had no plans to not continue to pay and help out. Disagreements and fighting aside, I love my sister and want her to go into motherhood filled with love and support, regardless of whether she wants my support or attendance at the event. Second, my sister's husband was made aware of the spelling change of Ray Farty about a month before my original post. He said he didn't think much of it until he saw it written down and immediately saw it as Ray Farty too. He said her emotions had been getting worse throughout the pregnancy and he didn't know how to approach her about going back to the original spelling.
Look at Ezekiel's.
Ezekiel said that kid will be called Gay Farty on day 1 of school. Dang.
That's so true.
Dang. He had hoped that once she gave birth, all the hormones would somehow leave her body. She'd come to her senses and it would be a non-issue. Dude. Third, a lot of you were lumping my mom in with my sister and said some pretty horrible things about her too. All my mom knew was from my sister calling her to complain that I laughed at her for slightly changing the spelling. My mom just assumed it was a minor change like Rafferty until I told her to grab a pen and paper and I'd spell it out for her. Once she saw it was Ray Farty, she was team save this child. Everyone's on board now. We're all good. The rest of the saga is in the comments. Now, for those of you who told me I didn't have any tact and my reaction was mean, my reaction was because 1, people would call the poor girl Ray Farty her entire life for the sake of my sister being quirky. 2, pregnancy brain aside, surely my sister would realize her child will be called Ray Farty once it's pointed out, have a laugh, change her mind, and this will end up being a funny story to tell at her daughter's future wedding or something. And 3, my sister is a bit of a joker, so I also initially thought she was just pulling a prank or joking. But if she was joking, she took the joke really, really far. She spent $400 on a mural painted on one wall in the nursery. She wanted to debut the finished nursery to everyone at the baby shower, including her husband, who was forbidden to see it beforehand, that had a Ray Farty incorporated into it that now needed to be repainted. She also bought herself a birthing gift. Is this even a thing? She'd have my brother-in-law present to her in front of everyone at the hospital a $900 gold bracelet with Ray Farty charms. The baby book also had Ray Farty embroidered on the cover.
Stop. No, why is she going so
She
hard in the
went
paint about this
hard.
stuff?
I contacted my sister's best friend Katie, not a real name. If my sister has told her anything about the spelling change, she found out about Ray Farty after the blow up with my sister, as my sister wanted to get Katie on her side. Katie, who's a teacher, was equally horrified about the spelling and told me this is the worst attempt at a creative name she's ever seen. The intervention of sorts, the farty party, if you will, included me, my sister, her husband, his mother and father, my mother, and Katie. My sister refused to believe anyone could possibly see Ray Farty as Ray Farty, and that we were just mad that she was taking creative license and that everyone does that nowadays. My sister said children are not that cruel to bully her daughter for her name, and Katie said plenty of kids are cruel enough and the others would join in so they're not singled out themselves. My sister countered that as long as all the adults are pronouncing it correctly, that it'll be no problem. And Katie told her that not only would the adults not know how to pronounce it to begin with, but that as long as fart is in the name, kids will latch right onto it. I was happy Katie was there because she shared interesting names her students have had over the past few years, so I knew her opinion on this would probably be the only one to sway her. My sister cried for about 10 minutes and finally agreed to entirely change the name because even Rafferty was tainted because we had all ruined it for her.
Oh boy.
She is drama queen.
She's so spoiled. Like,
Yeah.
the amount in gifts alone
Yeah, that's
shows you
crazy.
what kind of person she is.
Kind of loud on those. We told her to take her time to consider a new name. She told us she still wanted to honor my mother, and she suggested she combine my mother's first name with her mother-in-law's name and create a name on the spot that included a crass term for a lesbian.
Oh,
What? How does she do this? 2 for 2, girl.
this is crazy. Why are we doing this? What? Stop. The baby's not born. We haven't signed any birth certificates. Stop.
How did she do this? When my mother pointed that out, she started crying again and accused us of not letting her be a mom, and her husband suggested we leave it for now and we should all go and give her space. It's been radio silence until my sister texted me a couple of hours ago that she and her husband landed on Theodora. Absolutely in love with it. Sure. That Josephine Dolberqui says, did she name her Diesler? That's what I was wondering. She even decided my unborn niece looks like a Theodora in the ultrasound. She got those creepy 3D ones done where every baby looks like the same copper potato. I replied that was lovely, and I'm so happy she's happy. It's not my taste, but at least it's not Theodora or some crap like that. By the way, you know what we're always happy about? You guys joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile, and there is a little bit left to this story.
I am so glad that you love your niece this much that you fought.
You were fighting.
Left and right.
Yeah, and
for
you can
this.
tell her when she grows up, you're going to be like, your mom trying to name you Ray Farty. And then she trying to name you the Diesler.
Yeah.
And I said no. So there you go. My niece has been saved from being called Ray Farty. I'm invited to the baby shower again, and I know this is just a little blip with my relationship to my sister, and we'll be fine. But Katie will be taking over as godmother. Wow. Which is fine by me. I can always be godmother to their next child, which will probably be named something like Tara Masu. Thank you all for seeing the same thing I did and letting me know stopping Ray Farty from coming into existence was the right thing to do. But there are some comments. Commenter says, she also bought herself a birthing gift. Is this even a thing? What the actual F? Silly name aside, what is this? Some kind of social media fueled, look at me and how wonderful I am to get a gift as a reward for giving birth. This feels very tacky to me. The whole push present concept gives me the ick. Opie says, I agree. I've never heard of this before and it seems crazy.
The one thing I saw a husband gift their wife after they
Sushi
gave
platter?
yes
Yeah, I
the
saw
big
that too.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
I
sick.
would, if I pushed out a baby, I better be getting like a full meal.
Yeah.
I don't want any hospital food. I want like a pound of mashed potatoes and sushi also. And I just want a bunch of food. But also, if I ever ruin my body and pushed out a watermelon, I'd kind of want a reward too, though. Commenter says, pretty please tell us the amalgamation of her mother and mother-in-law's names. Opie says, there's probably no anonymity left on this situation, so here it goes. My mom is Leslie. Sister's mother-in-law is Yvonne. The name was Lesivon, pronounced Lesivon, like my niece is the lesbian baroness of some German village. I'll have the staff prepare the Birkenstocks for Lesivon Fartenberg's arrival. That's the end of that story.
My partner wants to keep our baby, but I'm giving it up for adoption.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This is
Seems like a heavy story.
Yeah.
It's a heavy story. I don't want to read it. My boyfriend, male 34, and I were together for almost 3 years, but it wasn't a good relationship. It got very bad, and I finally found the courage to leave him a few months ago. By the way, this comes from you, throw RA Elizabeth on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So, of course, afterwards, I found out I was pregnant. We didn't plan this. We always use contraceptives. Damn, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I really don't want kids either, and I'm definitely not in a situation to have one right now. So for me, the decision to give the baby up was made quickly, though with a lot of thought. I'm not saying this is easy. My ex and his family, however, hate me for it. I told them if they want to keep it, they can, but I won't be involved unless it's child support or something. Though I'm still studying and work part-time, so it's not a lot. But that's not enough. My ex wants us to get back together and be a family. His parents want me to keep their grandbaby and raise it. They want me to stop my studies and focus on being a mom. They're like, become a good woman and do woman motherly things.
It's your only path in life.
Yeah. Neither him or his parents are in a good place to raise a baby either, so that's why they need me. They call me a monster and so much worse. And the only reason he's wanting to get back together is because they had a baby.
Yeah.
The relationship was
It was
bad,
already-
and she said
yeah.
it got really bad, and that she's so happy to be out of it.
And to have this like measure of they want this control back because you have a kid.
Yeah. I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do with it. If I block them, I get visits telling me I just can't cut them off when I'm carrying their child, grandchild, so on. Other family members get involved. I got blasted on Facebook, though I wanted to keep the situation as private as possible. It always blows my mind in these stories that people are just like posting the most personal family drama
on
over Facebook.
What?
I'm so tired. I just want all of this to be over with. What can I do to make this situation work somehow? Update. Any thoughts so far before this update?
I think that, I don't know, it's tricky. I think that you maybe need to go through some sort of legal route of saying like, hey, I need, I don't know if you could get a restraining order or something, or
It's his child.
yeah.
I don't know the legality of this. I'll just
Yeah.
preface this whole story with that.
Yeah, but
don't
I
know.
think that at the end of the day, you just like, if you do not want to keep this child, if you want to put it up for adoption, that is, or give the child to your ex or something, that you do not have to stay with this child if that is not what you want.
It seems like OP is willing to give the child or give the family full custody of the child, but doesn't want to be involved.
Yeah,
And it
which
seems
is
like
that's your
they're not
choice.
accepting that.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, who cares what they think?
Yeah, at that point, like
Block them.
I think they will take the child. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they were saying that OP was saying that they're not in a position to take care of it. So if you're
Yeah.
saying you could have the child, but here's my line, I'm not going to be in the child's life other than child support, I wonder if they would take the child.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, update. Thank you for all the overwhelming amount of replies. That's a fun question mark. I appreciate it more than I could put into words. I've ripped off the Band-Aid and blocked them all, as well as taken a step back from social media. I called my mom and asked them if I could come home for a while.
Oh.
We called for such a long time. I told her everything. We both were crying. She told me she was worried even before all this. I hadn't realized how little contact we had while he and I were together. At a decent time, I'll contact school and look into attorney options, as well as figure out what I will do with this pregnancy. Can you legally block? I mean, like,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
can
not.
you block forms of communication off with the father if he's
I think until the
wanting?
baby is born.
Interesting.
I'm not. I don't know the legality.
Do you know anything around that, Keon?
No, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so
Unfortunately.
reality unclear, everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could, but I don't know.
So OP, at a decent time, I'll contact school and look into attorney options, as well as figure out what I will do with this pregnancy. Now I just really need some sleep. I'll probably book a hotel. My parents offered to pay. Great. Until I could go home to them. Thank you all so much. Truly, we have another update. We're just going to go right into it. I'm really sorry for posting here again. People were asking for an update, and I thought I'd do it like this. I hope that's okay. I can delete if not. Sorry again. A lot of apologies. Most important things first. I'm all right. I'm at home with my parents, who are the most wonderful people in the world. I'm very lucky. and I'm still pregnant. I know a lot of people were recommending A, and it's something I thought about a lot even when I had just found out. But I was in state that it has been banned, terrified of the possible repercussions, retaliation by my ex and his family, and so on. I'm sticking with my plan for adoption, and please respect that. Again,
this is your choice, and no one else gets to make it for you.
well, actually, I don't know. With the legality of like, can she put it for adoption if
If
the father is claiming?
Unless the father can, prove that he is able to support this kid legally, I think that's when she could put it up for adoption.
Don't get me wrong. I know everyone was saying it with my well-being in mind, and I'm incredibly grateful. I've never felt so supported in my life. After my first post, I blocked my ex and his family. I closed my social media accounts, though I did explain to some people close to me what was going on. My ex and his family didn't take that well, which I guess. After blocking them all, I somehow got more calls and messages than ever through all different kinds of media and numbers I didn't even know. Per your advice, I kept it all. Yeah, I don't know if the best situation was to block them. Obviously,
they were harassing OP.
Yeah, but
I think it's like you have to go through maybe some legal thing where
Yeah.
you're not directly talking to them, but there
I
is
think-
still some kind of moderation or like,
yeah, I think so too. I think the issue with
or mitigation.
the blocking for the benefit, I just don't think it would benefit OP, because if you're being blocked and someone has
Mhm.
your child, I think you're going to do anything possible to
Yeah.
get in contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it was them trying to make me feel guilty about not being a mom. They're quite traditional, that I can't just cut them off because I carry this baby and so on. They said they were worried and I should go to them so we could figure this out. Sometimes it was things that didn't make any sense, which made me wonder what my ex was telling them. Like that I chose to get pregnant and want to give it up as some vengeance towards my ex. How do you choose to get pregnant? That I drink, I don't, and so on. When I gave them nothing, it got less kind. Even talking about what happened if I terminated this pregnancy. I don't know if he went to my place because I was not there. I've been holding strong and not giving him any reply, though it's exhausting. I genuinely consider just giving in because I didn't have a fight left in me.
Oh.
I flew home, though, and my parents have been a great help. They support my choice, though I can see it hurts them. It hurts me too, but it's the right one. My parents are helping with the attorney side of things, so I don't have to do it alone, and it's given me some comfort knowing for a fact I could sign away my parental rights regardless of what they do, how selfish that may be.
It's not selfish at all.
Wait, so it seems like the attorneys are saying OP can give away their parental rights regardless of what her boyfriend's family does.
Yeah.
But does that mean what happens with his parental rights?
He would still have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the parental rights until he gives them up. And so she's saying that this is an option where they can't force me to keep, to take care of this child. I can give up my parental rights and they can do whatever they want at that point.
Yeah, it seems like at this point.
I think the safest option is, if she can afford it, is to just talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, but that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's in the midst of talking to the lawyer, and that seems like the best option right now. I don't think they'll end up doing much. I haven't heard his family in a few days, plus the last message I got from my ex, he kind of apologized. Said he panicked. We've been through a lot with the breakup, and me going for adoption was too much, but that he gets it and that adoption probably is the best choice. I haven't replied because I worried it's just to get a response, but I do hope it's true. If you like truth, you can join us live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. We're going to just go into the update. Also, his sister has been continuously kind. She has a different mindset. That's great. That's where we're at, I guess. I'd probably go home again in a few weeks, if only for my studies. But being here and being able to catch my breath is a lifesaver. I really want to say thank you to you all, and sorry again for bothering you with all this. You're not bothering anyone.
You're not bothering. I think it's just because it seems like from your story, you have this mindset that your ex and his family are telling you of, oh, well, you need to be a mother. It's selfish if you're not. And that's not true.
Yeah.
You do not owe them anything. And if you think that you cannot care for this baby and you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can put it up for adoption, and if your ex wants to contest, then he can take that baby.
Yeah. That's what it's
Yeah.
looking like legally. But I'm glad, OP, that you've been like
Yeah.
hard
Holding fast.
boundaries
Yes.
around like your no's and your yeses. And
Agreed.
I'm glad that like attorneys are getting involved and that we're going from there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, tricky situation. And then it just
Hard
obviously
situation.
so hard for
Yeah.
the, your ex's family to just be messaging you all these
Yeah.
things, especially with like wild accusations in there.
Mm-hmm. But that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
My wife's ex just died. He left a kid who isn't biologically either of ours. How do I talk to my wife about taking the kid in?
Yo, can we be like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and adopt some children?
I guess so. Like, we'll be cool like that, babe.
Yeah.
Be
Or like
cool, man.
maybe adopt like 2 more just to dilute the fact that, you're adopting like 1 kid, just like adopt 3.
Interesting.
And then it's like, no, I didn't want to adopt my ex's kid. I just want to adopt kids in general.
What a philosophy.
Yeah. I think it's great. You know what also is a great philosophy?
What?
Let's read this story.
You're right.
Let's read this story.
What a segue, guys. So this comes from ThrowRA 374-928, who says, so yeah, basically what it says on the tin. My wife, Kara, used to be married to a guy with which she had 1 kid. Oh, with which she had 1 kid. My stepdaughter, Charlotte, 9. I've always wanted to be a dad, but I'm unfortunately unable to have kids biologically, so I've been treating Charlotte like my own daughter and showering her with love. After Kara and her ex broke up, he had his son, Levi, 5, with another woman. Levi is not an affair baby. Kara's ex didn't even start seeing Levi's mom until a year after he and Kara got divorced. So
Okay.
OP's current wife, she did have a kid with her ex.
Yep.
That's a 9-year-old.
Then OP's ex-wife's husband, who is now also OP's ex-wife's ex-husband, had another kid with someone else.
Yes, after it wasn't an affair baby, it was all clean, all in the clear. Last week, Kara's ex passed away in a car wreck. From what I know, Levi's mom won't take him in. Wow, his own mother. And Kara has no close family who will take him in.
Wait, the ex won't take him in? Wait, ex is-
His own mother won't take him in
Wait,
because
what?
Yeah. So Levi's mom won't take him in, verbatim for the story, because this is
How does that make sense?
it doesn't. It's like, why would your mom not want to take you in? But she's not willing.
Does that make sense to you? Why would you not want to
just
put him
being
in?
insane? But yeah, that's what's happening. Is the mom, for literally God knows what reason, is not taking in her own child.
That's
Neither is
so fucked.
anyone else in the family.
That's so fucked. So
Nobody.
OP is just like, I have to do it.
Yes. So Levi is currently staying in a foster home. And if no one steps up, Levi will become a ward of the state and enter our state's god-awful foster system permanently. The other thing is that Charlotte loves her little brother so much, and she's obviously devastated about her dad. This little 9-year-old girl is literally lost her dad and is about to like have her brother go into foster care. My God.
This is the worst.
Yeah.
This is the worst. No child should be left on the streets to eat out of the hands of old men.
Yes. Amen. Amen, brother. Oh, God. It's late. It's late. It's late, guys. So back to the story. I think that staying connected with her brother will help Charlotte through the grief, and that staying with his sister will help Levi. The thing is, Kara absolutely loathes her ex. The split up was pretty much on the worst of terms, and their divorce was the messiest I have ever heard of.
Damn.
She once told me that if it wasn't for Charlotte, she would have moved across the country and never thought about him again. I'm worried that she won't want to take in Levi because of his connection to her ex.
Bro, she hates her ex so much that the hate transcends to the child.
That's too much. I'm sorry. That's too
Are we
much.
getting this right? This feels this feels wrong.
I feel like, yeah.
I mean, it is wrong, but it feels.
It's like, why?
I don't understand.
It's not like an affair baby.
It's not an affair, baby. They
You
had
know?
a kid together, and she just doesn't want to take him in
That's-
because, like, it reminds.
We don't
her
know
of
yet.
the ex.
We don't know yet, but that's what
it sounds
looking like. That's what it's
That's what
looking
it
like.
sounds like. Well, maybe the kid looks like him. She's like, oh fuck.
But still, like, that's the dumbest. Because again, her own daughter. This is her daughter's half brother, but like in reality,
I have an idea.
her actual brother.
All right, fly the kid to Los Angeles. Some of the best plastic surgeons in the world are here.
Oh my God.
Have the kid get plastic surgery on his face so he doesn't look like the dad anymore. And then she can adopt him.
Just adopt him.
Just adopt him.
Just adopt him.
Just adopt him.
Just.
Or that is not adopt him, but Patria B says he probably looks like his father. Yeah. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, we're going back into the story. I don't know how to talk to Kara about potentially stepping up to take Levi in, or if she might be gravely insulted if I brought this up. I know that Levi's not technically mine or Kara's problems, but he's an innocent child and Charlotte's little brother, and I would feel guilty if I didn't even try to take him in. Edit. Since a lot of people have been asking, the reason that Levi's mom can't and won't take him in is because she lost custody a while ago and has no interest in fighting to get it back. I don't know why she lost custody.
Oh, so basically the dead husband had custody, and when he died, she's like, I don't want this fucking kid. I didn't even have him in the first place.
Wow.
You took him away from me in the messy divorce, and you can have him
She
all the way
lost-
to the grave.
That's
Bury the kid with your body.
that makes no sense,
Yeah, it doesn't. She's just like, you had him, you keep him.
bro.
Have your ghost.
What is it with
Watch
these
him.
people?
They suck. They suck. Poor child, Jesse says. Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen to that.
Fox112 says, well, dude, she is your wife. We're just random strangers on the internet, and this is a seriously large decision. I would recommend talking to her about it and seeing how she feels. Are you even able to take in this child? To which OP responds, well, I've never been in my wife's position, and I was thinking maybe someone with more experience could give me advice. I love my wife, but she can be a bit, let's say, volatile when it comes to anything involving her ex. And yes, we are able to take the kid in, well, financially at least. Comfortable Search 704 says, info needed. Did Kara have much contact with Levi prior to the accident? If she did, that might make it a little bit easier. But you also do need to go with that it's just Charlotte's brother. Just think how you will put this and start by admitting to her she may or may not like the idea, but there is the possibility that she's trying to figure out how to bring it up to you. So think of it as a way of making it easier to say what she wants. I think that you're going to do okay. OP responds, no, she purposely didn't form a relationship with him so she'd have less attachments to her ex. Wow.
Fuck, that's so crazy. Hate your ex so much that you fucking throw your child under the bus. And he's
Goddamn.
just buried in the dirt and the mud and the blood and the beer.
God. I actually saw the kid more often than my wife because I handle most of the childcare stuff with my stepdaughter, which included pickup and drop off from visits with her dad. Charlie Chuck says, I'm curious, what was your relationship like with your wife's ex? It seems like you and him had a better relationship than your wife and him. I'm not saying you guys were buddy-buddy. OP says he and I were cordial, but if I'm being frank, he was a massive douchebag. My wife and I would rock, paper, scissors sometimes to see who would have to deal with him. LOL. No Glove 1575 says, do you think your wife will be able to be a loving parent to Levi the same way that she is with Charlotte? Physically taking him in is only the beginning of the journey. OP says, knowing my wife, yes, I think she would. She might hate the idea or she may not, but I don't think she's physically capable of hating a little kid once she gets to know him. That's why she's avoided forming a relationship with her ex's kid. I think she didn't want to get too attached to someone adjacent to her ex, but that's just my speculation, of course. Final comment before the big, juicy update.
Big and juicy. Oh, I can do a Tibetan throat sing.
You can.
Big and juicy updates.
Nice.
Thanks.
Camelia Rivera says, what did the ex do for Kara to divorce him? Damn man, answer. Which, like, low-key true. Like, what happened? OP, the better question is, what didn't he do? A man is not allowed to sleep. He cheated, lied, gaslit her. They had screaming matches, and during the divorce, he tried to keep my stepdaughter away from her. He made things up about her in court to try and serve his end. The only thing he never did was hit her. Yikes. Yikes.
So he hit her?
He didn't. That was the
He didn't hit her.
only thing he did not do.
Oh, he didn't hit her.
Fuck.
Well,
Everything
it's good
else
that he
but.
didn't hit her.
Yeah, so it's bad. It's
Well,
bad either way.
Okay, I thought it was like, oh, like, at least he didn't hit her.
No.
What's everything else?
The lying, cheating, stealing the child.
Oh, yeah, that's probably
the
that's pretty
gaslighting.
bad.
Yeah, the screaming matches.
Oh, yeah.
Things
screaming.
of this nature.
That's not good.
But guys, we have a final update, some relevant comments.
John, fucking read this story.
You got it, baby. Okay.
Sorry for everyone Sleeping.
All right, so on to the update. After reading through as many comments as I could, I was even more nervous than ever about talking to my wife. I was also even more convinced that this was a conversation I needed to have sooner rather than later. I also tried to get more information on Levi's situation and why no one could take him from my wife. And according to Kara, Levi's mom immigrated from another country and doesn't have any family here. One of her ex's parents is in aged care and the other is unwilling for some reason. As for the rest of his extended family, I don't know, and neither does she. But she did say that he's no contact with most of his family, and he's been disowned by a fair number of the family.
The kid?
The ex-husband.
Oh, the ex.
The deceased ex.
Oh.
Someone may reach out in the future, but it seems unlikely, again, to help claim the kid. Last night, Charlotte was over at her friend's house for a sleepover, so Kara and I had dinner alone together. I started by bringing up how lonely I thought Charlotte was and how glad I was that she was feeling well enough to go over to her friend's house. Kara agreed, and I basically got straight to the point by saying that how I thought that she'd feel better if she could spend time with her brother, and asked if she might consider taking on Levi as a kinship foster.
What's a kinship foster?
Let us know in the comments. I'm guessing it means like, yeah, she's not related to him.
No, she's
But
a kinship is maybe just like not related or anything, you know?
Something like that. Sam just woke up my kid.
Yeah.
It
I
might
whip
be a
kids up.
term or concept relating to foster care, suggesting nurturing and caring environments that emphasizes kindness and familial bonds.
Stella Davis
So
says
stuff
next
like
of family.
Oh, nice.
So it's like next in line.
Next in
kind of.
line.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. We're going to keep going and Sam will keep
This
dancing.
is giving me worm Sam vibes.
Yeah. Would you
Worms,
still
yeah.
love me if I was a worm?
Oh, God.
Yep.
Would you like me to worm all up in your ear?
Feed you
There
to
it
my
is.
bird.
Feed you to my bird.
Caw.
Give you that sweet word.
Oh,
That's
boy.
John, he's going to give you those words.
Oh, goodness gracious. Here we
Yeah,
go.
Hit him with it, Johnny boy.
Kara looked thoughtful for a minute before tentatively agreeing to take in the kid. That's big. We're going to be taking steps to see about taking him in, and at the very least, setting up visits so the siblings can see each other. This is a huge weight off my shoulders, knowing that she doesn't resent a little kid for her relationship with his father, and that she was able to have a rational conversation regarding a topic related to her ex. The last time we had a conversation about him, I'd accidentally used a phrase that her ex used a lot during in their fights, and she got triggered by it. She ended up storming out and staying at a hotel for the night so she could calm down. She's a lovely woman. I know it might not seem like that from my post, but she really is. She had a really toxic and borderline abusive relationship, which almost resulted in her losing access to her daughter. So,
Damn.
I hope that y'all don't think of her as a monster, but as a loving wife and a mother with some trauma that she's trying her damnedest to work through, and with the support of her therapist and myself.
But don't we think of her as a monster, though? Like, even though, I mean, Opie said not to, but I feel like we kind of do, right?
Well, she didn't want to see the kid because of the ties to the husband,
Which is fucked up.
which, because he was in a, I guess, not stable
So you
home,
think it's
but-
good to abandon children? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, I think it's very, very, very good to abandon children. And she ultimately did pretty much on the first ask accept the kid in.
Well, yeah, I
To,
mean,
like,
that's
foster
good.
him
She
after
is
the
redeeming herself,
passed
which is
away.
like,
She didn't offer it up, so
she didn't offer it up.
You could
not
put that
good,
on her.
But she redeemed herself.
She
Good.
did.
So
she did.
overall, good.
I'm saying overall good.
I say overall good.
I'm saying overall
With
good.
a sprinkle of bad, but the good covered up the bad. It's like if you like accidentally dropped some oil on the street, but then rain came by and washed it away.
100% agree. All right, guys, are you ready? We have one last relevant comment in the story.
I'm so ready.
One last relevant comment. So this one comes from Cooler Than Unicorns. I'm so happy about this outcome. Your wife seems like a lovely woman. OP. I know, right? I'm so thrilled. My jaw hurts from smiling so much. Oh dear, it's Richardy says, I'm glad Reddit didn't talk you out of this. There were so many negative and pessimistic comments. I was worried that you were going to abandon the idea. Opie says, no one short of my wife herself would convince me not to. He's an innocent child who needs someone to love him. If anything, Reddit made me more determined to try. If I chickened out and never brought it up, everyone calling me a saint, completely undeserved, but that's beside the point, would be disappointed in me along with myself.
What a saga. We really
What
kind
a
of like
saga.
went all all around, like around the world.
That's right. So, would you adopt the child?
Would I adopt the child?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think this story turned out way better than it started.
Yes.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad for that reason.
It was a good ending. Good ending to a good story.
Yeah.
You
Baby
guys just pounded
Godzilla, $5. Thank you. What
Thank
are
you.
your day jobs? Are you asking us?
Yeah, dude.
Because
Tell him.
Looking at it.
Tell him what you.
we're looking at it. We do this full time.
No.
We went all in on
We
this.
went all
Actually,
in.
from the very first day.
Yeah.
Literally the first day.
For the first day, we kind of yeah.
Before we had any performance of it. Like
Yeah.
the first day of recording and
Wait,
having
wait.
nothing posted.
Tell them how you guys started this. I don't think anybody.
Yeah,
knows.
that's actually a good way
Yeah.
to close out.
Yeah,
this
yeah. We can
beautiful
tell.
stream.
Yeah, we can tell you guys how we started.
Let's do it. So me and Sam met from a mutual friend, which is also so crazy. Like if she had never introduced us,
None of this would be possible.
literally, you wouldn't be watching this right now, probably. But so we had a mutual friend introduce us, and we were both like in the podcast space, and we just started chatting like every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, and this was during the pandemic.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
This is actually literally right as the pandemic started.
Yeah, because
I
we were both
remember-
doing podcast stuff.
I was a podcast producer for other businesses, but we started talking like literally
Yeah.
we put a recurring thing on the calendar every 2 weeks.
And we were just chatting because like we were both in the podcast space.
Yeah.
John was doing the business podcast stuff, and I had like a entrepreneurial podcast where I interviewed people. And we're like, we're doing kind of the same thing. And we started
right.
talking, and then we fell madly in love.
Dude, just insatiably in love.
Insanely in love.
And Sam got this awesome opportunity from the show Finding Founders, by the way, which is still live.
It's still
runs to
live.
this
You look
day.
up Finding Founders, you can
Yeah.
see another side to me.
Yeah, it's technically under our little network.
Yeah,
family.
yeah. It is. It is under our
is.
network.
Literally.
It's on OKOP network.
Very much
but yeah,
literally.
if you look up Finding Founders, you can see where I talk to nudists and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, that's where the nudist, all the
That's
nudist
where
stuff
the
came from,
nudist
if you were
stuff.
curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a opportunity from them, and then they were like, "Oh, actually, this is a co-hosted position." And dude, he
Yeah, and I'm like, John, we've been talking for a while. I want to come on.
tapped in your boy, dude.
Yeah, and we
Uh,
started doing this show with Wondery called Secret Sauce.
Oof.
You can
Name dropping. This is the first time
Did I
we've
not name it?
ever publicly
have we
said
not?
that.
Okay, well, people can look at it LinkedIn.
Yeah, of course,
it's
of
out
course.
there.
I found it.
Yeah, and we did
That's
that
true.
for a while, and it was fun. But eventually, they canceled the show,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Fuck this! We can do this better."
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like brainstorming ideas, and eventually we're like, "Oh, what if we like read like Reddit stories? We've been seeing like people do it. Like we could probably do this better. We're funny a little bit."
Mm-hmm.
And then our first TikTok got like 500,000 views, and we're like, "Holy shit!"
Blew our minds.
Blew our minds. And so from that point on, we released like two TikToks a day
Yeah.
for like
daily,
last, like,
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Since that
day.
September
19.
Yeah.
19th, 2021 was the upload date.
Yeah.
Which we have to celebrate as an anniversary next time. We're like bad
yeah.
at we're
Yeah.
bad at celebrating, and we need to do that.
Yeah. Jem asks, Sam, did you interview the nudist nude? Yes, I did. There
Hell
is
yeah,
a
I did,
picture
dude.
out there of me doing that. 5,000 and John shaves his head.
Hamster girl, unfortunately not. That was unfortunately not going to happen.
Oh man,
Love
I
it,
think we
though.
could read one small story.
Yeah, do we
left.
want a little?
Yeah, we want
teeny
one.
tiny OKOP show or something?
Yeah. We got something.
And then if we do, we only have a few minutes left. If by some miraculous godsend miracle we pass 5,000, it's going public.
It's going.
That's
public.
what it is. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. There you go,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
but
We'll close
that's-
out strong.
Oh man, yeah, the Raven. I get to start my day. I get one story. Yeah, we're looking for. We've read through all of our stories right now.
We've just blown
Phillips,
through
this was amazing.
all the ammunition.
Great job, guys. Yeah, I'm so glad that you've liked it because like this is, I think like the most fun is interacting with you guys.
Oh yeah, it's been kind of crazy because like we put out the videos and obviously we see your comments but being able to interact with all of the comments in real time, like
Yeah.
it's great, like truly crazy.
Yeah, it really feels like a community, and also
Yes.
seeing you guys like talk in the chat with each other, and then find your like each other in the
Yeah.
comments of the videos.
Yes.
Is so cool because
Amazing.
like I don't know, I see you guys like exchanging information, and say like, oh, like that was like sleepless nights or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really really cool, and we're lucky to have such an awesome community that
So lucky.
has like I don't know, just supported us and supported each other.
I won't say the
Cosmic Tacos.
username, but don't tell X how much was spent. Don't worry.
Yeah.
See, we censored it that time. We censored
it.
it that time.
Sarah King says, Daddy Jesse, thanks again for the membership. I appreciate it.
Oh, Jesse, Jesse, by the way, I love that you're gifting the memberships. It's just I just love it.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool way to donate to the stream.
Yeah. Riley, do you got something for us? All right. Last story. It's a short one.
My jealous friend stole my baby's name. I exploded and told our friend group.
Steal her baby.
Steal her baby?
Steal her baby in return.
Would I be the a-hole if I cut off a friend? We'll call her Trish and her husband Joe. We love context, right? Great. There's plenty of history. My husband, 30 male, and I, 29 female, dated for a short time before he proposed. His best friend Joe and his girlfriend Trish have been together nearly 8 years. No ring. I don't see no ring on it. By the way, this comes from user HerkleDurkle9000. And if you want to submit your own little HerkleDurkles, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit and put your stories there. Trish had been nice to me, but it all changed after we got engaged. Anytime our wedding got brought up at a friend's gatherings, she'd huff and storm off, or just plain leave to escape the conversation. She acted super weird, and Joe started selling everything and got her a ring. All she wanted to talk about was their wedding. They picked a date a little less than a month after ours and asked us to be in their wedding, which we agreed to because we're great friends. Right? Trish made planning our wedding a nightmare. All she did was complain and was always saying she couldn't wait for it to be over. My husband and I were so excited for our wedding. He was so involved in planning. As we planned, we shared details of those plans. Big mistake. Our friends threatened not to come to our wedding if our first dance was to a particular song because it's their song. They even approached my husband by himself and asked him not to play the song at all or dance to it. My husband agreed and broke the news to me later. During planning our wedding, Trish was constantly reaching out and asking what we were doing for songs and other small details. 6 months out from our wedding, Trish's mom called my then fiance asking what was going on and why didn't I have a bridesmaid dress yet. Issues about me wearing sunglasses, me smoking the devil's lettuce in my personal time, never around anyone, and finally, why wasn't I going to be at her bridal shower? I RSVP'd to her mother-in-law as requested on the invite, but I had the wrong phone number, so they never got it. I found out later it was the wrong number because the person finally texted me back and said wrong number a month or so after Trish and Joe's wedding. The mother-in-law sent a card in the mail and I texted thank you for my card, and the person on the other end said they weren't the mother-in-law. I don't have a bridesmaid dress because I didn't even have my wedding dress yet. My mom passed in 2015 and I really dreaded the shopping and trying on because she wouldn't be there. I ended up getting my dress from a local on Marketplace and tried the dress on at our small town seamstress. Also, what really hurts me about Trish is how she treats her mother and mother-in-law. When I first noticed how bridezilla she was when we went and watched her try on dresses. Mom, mother-in-law, myself, and maid of honor. Trish was absolutely nasty and entitled to her mother the whole time, and she was disgustingly rude to her mother-in-law. Her mom was primping her hair and the dress, and she just kept making nasty faces and swatting at her mom's hands. She didn't start acting right until her mom pulled out all the credit cards to pay for the dress, plural. To add, at the dress shopping for her wedding, she had a pile of reject dresses and the lady took them out of the room. The one dress, I absolutely loved it, but didn't want to push it onto her. She wanted to change a bunch of stuff about it and essentially make it a new dress. I didn't want to change a thing besides the size. I didn't vocalize that I wanted this to be my dress while the rejects were still in the room because it wasn't about me in this moment. We took a break to get her more dresses to try, so everyone was off in the aisles browsing. I went to the desk and got a separate sales associate and asked about this specific dress, which was outside of the room in the rejected pile. She gave me the dress information and I said that I would come back for it tomorrow, and she took my information. This took all of 5 minutes.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues.
But let's get back to the story.
I knew the shape and everything would be perfect for me, but I felt it wasn't right to buy the dress then, since this specific event wasn't about me. Trisha comes back and sees me looking at the dress, and she said, "Did you find something that you like?" I said, "I did, but it's not about me today. I'm coming back tomorrow and ordering it."
Girly, no, don't tell her. Don't tell her.
OP, why did you not move in silence?
We don't need to tell her. We
OP,
don't need to tell her.
OP didn't know maybe yet. So we all go back in the room and Trish tries on 1 or 2 more dresses and looks at all the new dresses looking not satisfied and said, wait, and leaves the room and comes back in with the dress that I said I was going to order. I felt my face drop and get hot, and I felt like I was socked in the chest. She told the sales lady, "I want to put this back on." She doesn't look at me and she puts it on. All of a sudden she loves it and it's the one. All I could say repeatedly was, "I love the off-shoulder bows." And then I asked, "Do you want to change anything about it?" And she said no. And then we had to try bridesmaid dresses on. After we left, I was sobbing the whole way home. My poor then fiance was doing everything he could to try to comfort me, making me fall more in love with him. So coming back around, this phone call from Trisha's mom caused so much unnecessary anxiety. My husband found out from Joe that Trish and her mom were trying to get him to make the phone call, but he refused. We ended up meeting at a place because I texted Trish and she, quote, "just wanted to know what's going on with me." Our other friend who was maid of honor for Trish came to mediate. It was so stupid. The whole powwow at the place just turned into me apologizing, which in hindsight, I don't even know what I was apologizing for. I was the one that was getting railroaded on things for my wedding and getting my feelings hurt. That same evening at the place, we somehow got into lighter conversation and Trish asked what baby names we all wanted to name our future children. Our one friend said a name that she just named her baby. I said 3 names that I wanted to name my kids.
No!
Why?
Why do you keep falling for her traps?
Everybody said that my baby names were cute. I said this specific name again several times on different occasions. When the topic came up again, we make it through everyone's wedding, and a year later, Trish and Joe have their first kid, and what does she name it? My name that I said multiple times, first and middle name. What gets me is she asked what I'd name my baby, and I said it multiple times. I want to confront her, but how? If I can't confront her, I want to cut her off. I'm just so done with her. She's showed me so many times in so many different ways. She's not my friend.
Yes.
No, duh.
Yes, we're finally catching on.
OP.
How many times do you have to let someone just like smack you in the face before you're like, maybe they're not my friend?
Have you had friends? I don't mean that in
Clearly
a
not
mean
good
way.
friends.
I just like genuinely like,
Yeah.
do you not know what it feels like to be like sort of, I don't even know if taken advantage of is the right word. It's like, it feels like you're being like bullied.
Yeah.
Why I'm asking is because my husband and his best friend's relationship will suffer, and he has already been suffering. Update. After talking with a lot of you in the comments, a few things. I know I don't own the name. It's just that she's hurt me so many times. More times than I've named. I've showered her with gifts, made birthday cakes for her and her husband and brother-in-law. We never come over empty-handed. We extend invites for fun and food. I spent $700 on her baby shower gifts and just tried to be a real friend to her and share myself with her. It hasn't mattered how good I was to her. She has continually done things to slight me or cause rifts where this feels like this was done purposefully. Yes, it was. Do not listen to
Obviously,
any
it was
of the
done purposely. Obviously.
Also, someone said that Trisha's mother was in the right. How is a bridesmaid dress more important than my wedding dress? I was a bride first, and my alterations and corset took until Wednesday before my wedding. My bridesmaid dress was off Amazon with 2-day prime shipping with no alterations needed. The other bridesmaids did the same thing. Also, Trish and Trish's mother have my cell phone number. Why try to force Joe to call my husband? Why call my husband when you can talk to the problem, so to speak, yourself? Second, again, after talking with you all, I started to think about where I got the name from and remembered. It makes me think I actually won. I got the name from my sister's father-in-law's family dog. Their first language is Spanish, and I loved the way it sounded in their accent. The middle name is from my husband's other best friend. I still intend to use this. And by the way, I hope that you intend to listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All you got to do is search OK Storytime. And a little birdie has told told me we have 47 days worth of podcasts.
So you better get cracking.
Yeah.
You got some time.
You should have started yesterday.
Yeah.
My advice here
Stop being
would
friends
be,
with her.
Yeah,
That's my advice.
stop being friends with her and also like learn maybe what a friend is. It feels like you've done everything
Learn what a friend is.
completely one-sided.
Aw, yeah.
This person has taken money from you, has taken gifts from you, has taken baked
Time.
goods from you, and has given you nothing but hostility.
Yeah, she's
Like
terrible.
underneath
She's
a very, very thin coating of nicety. And honestly,
I
like
just can't imagine. I just can't imagine having a friend who like is obviously copying me, and I'm like, okay, well then I'm not. I don't want
is
to be
there
your friend.
is there a
anymore.
respectful way to copy?
Well, you ask. You say, hey, like I really love that idea. Do you mind if I like do that for my wedding?
Third, I am now relieved that she took the name and I didn't name my baby that. Ah ha ha. I'm still salty that she asked the name, but it softens the blow knowing her baby is named after a crusty dog. Double edit here. I've seen a few people ask the name. The name was Forrest Edward. Update number 2, we were at a Christmas party and I had zero chill. Finally, I started with a gray rocking to stonewalling or just walking away when she came up to me. But she kept approaching me and it made me angry that she just keeps acting like she didn't do anything wrong and that we're cool after all of this. It's safe to say I blew up the friend group and now mostly everyone knows I named their baby. Just not the dog part. I don't feel bad, but my husband said it was a see you next Tuesday move. I would be like, hey husband, shut up.
Shut up, husband.
Why are you defending that? Why isn't your husband supporting you?
Why isn't your husband supporting you?
Cancel your husband.
But that is the end of that story.
My wife found out that I've been lying to her for months about our baby. She's furious.
Oh, is the baby not yours?
Hey guys, there's some self-harm in this episode. If you want to skip this and go to the next story episode, I would advise that. Let's get into it. Well, this all went down about an hour ago, and my wife is still crying in our bathroom with the door locked. Always a good sign.
Oh, no.
Backstory. We had our son, now 11 months old, while my wife is in residency. She took a few weeks off before giving birth and then went back to work a few months after while I transitioned my hours to part-time so I could stay at home and raise our son. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Wife Hates Me. And if you want to submit your own stories and hopefully your wife doesn't hate you, or maybe she does, send them in r/storytime because we can talk about it. So my mom moved in with us shortly after birth in order to help out, which allows me to get a few hours of work per day and also not get swamped with taking care of the baby/housework. She's quite old-fashioned and would definitely not prefer this arrangement with me being a stay-at-home dad, but she hasn't said anything to either of us and has also been a great help. For anyone unfamiliar with a medical residency, it is brutal. My wife has just over a year left. Sometimes she comes and goes for 1 to 3 days at a time, and our son is asleep the whole time she's at home. Dude, that is like literally you're working for like 3 days straight. You come home, the only time you get to see him still is when he's sleeping. This has been helping more as his sleep schedule has shifted to sleeping through the night. And my mom and I make sure that when she's home and the baby is awake, my wife gets him 100%. I know it's been hard on her, but unfortunately, it's just going to be this way for another year because of the medical residency. The first big milestone she missed was him rolling over. When she got home, after missing the milestone, my mom pulled her over to the baby all excited. I thought she was going to tell her, but instead she says, Julie, you came home right on time. He's been moving about as if he's going to roll over. They both stood there and encouraged him. And right on cue, he rolls.
Let's go.
My wife was elated. She was so worried and guilty about not being there, and she took it as proof that she can still be a present mother while working. I send texts over little things she misses through the day, so it's not completely unbelievable. But my wife has been present for every single big milestone. He coincidentally started crawling with her right there. His first words were right in front of her and began standing, cruising, and walking while she happened to be home. The walking one was difficult. There was a tough 7-day stretch where she just wasn't home during the daytime when he was awake, and his waking went from teetering to walking a couple steps pretty confidently in that time. We put little bean bags in one of his pant pockets so he'd be wobbly and unbalanced, and it looked believable since he fell after the first step like he was doing weeks ago. Yes, it was mean to our poor son. He's like, man, I was walking just fine the other day,
And then they take away the beanbag and he can't walk again.
And then he's like, today it all unraveled. So far, he can just say, Mama, Dada, Nana. Yesterday, he started saying, bye-bye. My wife has today off and has been home all morning. My mom and I have been trying to get him to say bye all day without giving it away that we already know that he can say bye. Successfully got him to say bye to the ducks at the park. Freaking adorable, I'm sorry. And we both gushed over his newest word the whole way home. My wife was using my phone to take pictures of him and began showing my mom at home while telling her about his sweetest new word acquisition. She was swiping through the galleries. She saw a video from yesterday and goes, "Oh, you never sent me this one." It was literally like a slow motion film happening before my eyes.
John, we're going to get back to the story,
Yeah.
but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a
baby.
piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
And now back to the story.
I had taken the video of him yesterday waving bye-bye. My wife isn't an idiot. She figured the whole ruse out pretty much instantly. I've never seen her look so upset and heartbroken in her life before.
Oh, that's rough.
I couldn't say or do anything to comfort her. Now she's locked herself in the bathroom crying and won't come out. I'm on our bed hoping someone can please tell me what to do to make this better. But we also have some relevant comments. Commenter number 1, oh man, this is a very different story from the one the title would suggest it would be. Your intentions here are very, very kind, but lying to protect your wife's feelings
Is still lying.
it's still lying. It sounds like your wife is feeling some guilt or ambivalence about not being able to spend as much time with your baby as she wishes she could, and pretending that she is a part of all of his firsts isn't ultimately going to help her deal with those feelings. You need to be honest. And you need to be honest with her and give her the space to feel whatever she feels about this. But also, she needs to understand that a lot of working parents deal with the same disappointment she's feeling and come to terms with it. There's another commenter. This is a difficult situation. Right now, my suggestion would be to give your wife space. She needs to process this. It's hard, but the fact that you can't do anything to fix what she's feeling, her emotions are incredibly heightened, not only from new motherhood, but from stress and pressure, and they're hers to ride out until she's ready to be helped. And frankly, she might not want that help from you. While I understand that why you did what you did, and I see the love and compassion that fueled the choice, you and your mother were dishonest in a very complex and conspiratorial way. That's simply it. And your wife, even if she also sees the love behind the choices you made, has been impacted by your dishonesty. She has been wronged. Right now, it's most important that you don't try to fix or chase away that feeling, because if you do, you will not lay a foundation to build up from this low and difficult point. Let your wife decide when she's ready to talk and be helped, and what form that help will take. Give her that space. And we have an update coming up. Didn't think anyone would particularly care about an update, but I appreciated all the insight anyways. So here's the update. After I wrote the original post, my mom took my son to stay overnight with my wife's sister so that the two of us could have the house to ourselves. We pretty much just talked for an hour while constantly reaffirming that we love each other a lot and want to sort this out. I apologized and explained why I did what I did. She said that feeling like she was there for our son's milestones was really just a Band-Aid solution that didn't actually convince her she was present. She said that if she had been using the milestones to feel like she was present, this probably would have felt worse for her. But since she wasn't, in her words, deluding herself into thinking she's actually home, her main issue was that I lied, which hurt her feelings. I apologized and explained that I honestly thought she would prefer the lying if given the choice. She said she understood where I was coming from and that she felt betrayed when she realized, but she sees that I was doing it because I love her, and she thinks we'll probably laugh about it with our grandkids one day. Yes, I'm very aware I don't deserve my wife. I don't know if I'd say that with OP.
That's cute.
I think you just made a mistake out of love.
Cute.
This is cute. This is great. Some things came out on my end that I wasn't going to tell her and didn't mention in my last post, that I'm scared she's going to contemplate self-harm. Our uncle did that when I was a child in a part from working a high-stress job where he made a huge and costly mistake. One of my wife's colleagues also did. Being a working mom is bad enough. Being a resident in this program is bad enough. Both combined are a recipe for trouble. Since our son was born and the incident with her colleague happened, I've been afraid that if her home life wasn't perfect, it might push her over the edge. But she's reassured me that that's not happening. And I think saying it out loud also made me realize it was a pretty irrational, groundless fear. Guys, if you want to listen to full episodes, we have 2,000 episodes. I don't know what else to tell you. Go to Apple Podcasts. Go to Spotify. So many. Search OK Storytime in your favorite podcasting platform, and you can hang with us for literally 104 days straight content for your ear holes. But Sam, what are we thinking about this conversation?
I think it's healthy.
I totally agree. I think in the end, when you tell the truth, you're able to operate in reality. Versus if you do not, then now you're living in this false world, and all kind of other repercussions and things can
fall by the wayside,
spiral out from that. So I think they've reached a place, and you know what? They did it with kindness and empathy, but we're also honest. So
yes,
throwing it down for that. We love to see it. We ordered takeout and sat together watching the real videos I have of all of our sons first. Yeah, that's another thing. She didn't even get to see the video before. I also have a special photo of picture/videos of my son with my wife. So we went through that after that. She almost choked from laughing so hard when I tentatively revealed the beanbag trick. Dude, gotta love it. I am the laughing stock of her friend group chat. So I guess we're already at that stage and we're laughing about it. Thank you to those who responded to the last post. The stereotype of someone in r/relationships advocating divorce every time anything happens is true. And that's it. That is the last
one
of OP stuff there.
My girlfriend just had her baby and is dumping me. She wants nothing to do with the baby. I think I have to take drastic measures. Am I the a-hole?
The mother of my child, who has been my girlfriend for over 3 years up until last night, broke up with me and told me she doesn't want to be a mom right now.
Ooh.
I'm 19.
Oh.
And in my sophomore year of college.
Oh my God.
She's about to turn 18 and in her senior year of high school. We have been together for 3 years since we were in high school together. She got pregnant towards the end of my senior year. Our daughter just turned 1 year old. The pregnancy wasn't planned. No.
Oh boy.
We were careful, but not careful enough.
Clearly.
And it happened.
Oh.
I was willing to support any decision she wanted to make. We talked through all the options together. She wasn't forced by anyone to keep the baby, but I told her I would be involved and support that if it's what she wanted to ultimately do.
Yeah.
She said she already started to grow attached to the baby and love it early in the pregnancy and couldn't get an abortion. Neither of us were very comfortable with adoption, so she decided to keep it, and I adjusted to the idea of becoming a dad at 18 years old.
Wow. I mean, OP sounds like a good person.
Stand-up guy. Yeah,
stand-up guy so far.
Not every 18-year-old would do that.
No, would be ready to have a baby.
Crazy, though.
Your father.
18 and 19.
That is crazy.
My goodness.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd been accepted to another college a state away, but changed my plans after this happened and decided to go to an in-state school within driving distance of where we live. I live at home with my parents and commute to school. I'm only going to college part-time, and I will most likely graduate in 6 years instead of 4. I had planned to go full-time out of state and had much bigger goals for what I'd like to do after that. I also have a job, and all of the income goes to supporting our child. I'm okay with that.
Wow. OP sounds like a really nice person.
This is my responsibility. I love my daughter. I don't have a ton of free time, but we do share custody, and our daughter splits her time about 50-50 now between both of our family's houses. She used to have her more often because she was so little, but I still went over to her parents to help and to see my child all the time. My girlfriend is a loving mom, or always seemed like she was.
Uh-oh.
She told me last night that she's been thinking about it for a while. Oh, geez. But I see you in the comments if you know where this is going. She's applying to some colleges further from home and eventually wants to study abroad. This isn't what she wants for her life, and she's not ready to be a parent right now. She told me that I'm much better at it than she is, and she feels like a fraud. She says she wants to figure out what needs to be done legally to give me full custody of our daughter. We don't have any sort of legal custody agreement right now.
That's really hard. She's 18. I can't even say that anyone's the a-hole.
She's 18. I wasn't thinking anything through at 18.
I had no thoughts.
I was climbing buildings and
Sam was climbing
skyscrapers
buildings
when I was 18.
I was in my home watching Minecraft videos.
She also suggested that maybe it's good to start transitioning our daughter to eventually live full time with me starting right now. She wants her to have less time, but thinks it won't be right to do it suddenly. I'm just sort of in shock, blown away by this, really. I can't believe she would do this. There is an update, Sophia, but
oh my.
what do you think? Like, so far, what do you think OP should do? Should he say like, hey, like this is your responsibility too? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think it's both of their responsibilities, but I think that I don't know, like
This is rough.
This is really
This is
rough.
really
She's
rough.
18.
She's 18. He's 19.
He's 19.
They're
I
kids.
think that
Kids having
maybe
kids.
they might have to revisit the adoption thing if neither of them are ready to be parents.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to be fully like committed and
Yeah.
able to raise a child.
Let's see what OP does. I gave my ex about a week to tell her parents about her plans to abandon our daughter, attend college out of state, and eventually move abroad. Last week, when I went over to their house to pick our daughter up, my ex wasn't even there. I was pissed off and told her parents everything she told me. I also let them know that I think she needs to be evaluated for postpartum depression. Now, she's mad at me for telling her parents as well as accusing her of being crazy. She insists she was screened for postpartum depression already and she's fine. So she's not going through postpartum depression. She's just not.
I will say, I think that for the most part, Opie's been doing, good stuff. But like, I don't think you need to have postpartum depression to be like, wow, I'm not ready to be a parent. Like, not saying she did the right thing.
And
but
I'm being
like,
a little harsh with calling her an asshole again. She's 18, but she,
18.
you have a
But yeah,
responsibility.
no, you have a
when you're-
responsibility, unfortunately. That,
responsibility. Her parents told her that if she wants to go to school out of state or go study abroad, she'll be all on her own and they won't support her in any way. They can't actually stop her. Her mom assured me she'll make sure she gets screened for postpartum depression. Although her parents didn't want to agree to it at first, my daughter is staying with me and my parents for the next few weeks to give my ex a break. Sometimes her parents forget they aren't my daughter's parents. That tells me a lot about what probably goes on over at their house. She texted me last night. I know some people are critical of the assumption she has postpartum depression or something else going on, but she's done acting like herself. I'm not trying to vilify her or call her crazy. She said, I miss you. You never want to have sex with me anymore.
Oh my goodness.
That was really strange and not like anything she has ever said before. She didn't even mention our daughter, but she misses sex? When and where are we supposed to do that now? I said, sorry, I'm too busy taking care of our daughter.
Ooh.
None of how she's acting is like her at all.
What do
Fucking
you
doozy.
guys think?
Fucking doozy, dude.
That's a doozy.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I think Sophia's right. What she said at the beginning, like, it's hard to tell anyone they're an asshole because it's like,
It's like,
yo,
these are
she's
kids.
18. She's definitely
Kids.
not making the best decisions.
No, but like,
or the most like,
also if she
heartfelt
does
decisions.
have PPD, that is also a factor to
I think also just like everyone should go to therapy right now.
Everyone should go to therapy right now.
Right this second.
Right
Yeah, this is
now. If you're hearing this, OP, go to therapy.
go to therapy. It's yeah, this is a pretty difficult situation. I don't think OP's like ex-girlfriend is making the best decisions, but again,
No.
she's 18. It's a tough situation. I would love to know from in the comments if like anyone knows any like teen pregnancy stories, or if you yourself had a kid when you were young, like what was that like for you?
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Because man, this is tough. This is tough. But you know what else is tough? Waiting for us to go into this next story.
Whoa.
We're gonna get into it.
My lazy coworker tricked me into babysitting, so I told her to watch her kids or else.
I murder them.
I don't want to give too much away since she has read it. It's one of you.
It's one of you.
one of you.
I see you.
But we work in a food service establishment. All the employees work with the food in the back and then hand it to the customers at the front counter. My coworker can't find a babysitter at daycare 9 out of 10 of the time, so she takes her kids to work and keeps them in the back. They're really hyperactive kids, so she brings a portable crib and an iPad to keep them occupied.
You gotta
How old
the iPad is the new pacifier.
The iPad is the new pacifier.
which is kind of sad and terrifying.
No. Well, the 4-year-old already knows how to climb in and out when he gets bored and
knows how to play Minecraft.
and keeps running around the establishment barefoot and bothering customers. Her 1-year-old always tries to be like his brother and constantly climbs out only to fall face down on the floor. My coworker uses her phone a lot, so she constantly goes outside for 15 to 30 minute periods to talk on the phone. This is when she usually tells me to watch her kids while she's out. Usually I have no problem doing so if the store is empty, since I'm usually in the back anyways. But when we're in rush hour and she does this, it's literally impossible for me to do so.
I'm not your babysitter.
Yesterday, this happened. She went outside to talk to her boyfriend and left me with her kids, asking me to watch them. But as soon as she left, a family of 5 came in, so I told the kids to stay calm and set them up with a YouTube video while I took their orders.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. As I'm taking their order, I hear a loud thump. A second later, I hear a scream from the smaller child. I apologize to the family and excuse myself. When I go check on the kids, the baby is again on the floor, on his stomach, staring at me, crying.
Oh, no.
I check that he's okay. He is, and pick him up and finish taking the order with him on the side of my hip.
Yeah, falls out again.
Right then, my coworker walks in and asks what happened. I tell her. She tells me how. She asked me to watch them.
I have to deal with customers at my job.
Then a customer chimes in saying they thought the kid was mine. I said, no. And then she tells my coworker that it's not my responsibility to watch her kids since that's not the job I'm getting paid for. Nice comeback customer.
Fucking come back.
Love
Let's
that
go.
customer. 10 out of 10 customer.
Customer preach, girl.
Customer's great.
Customer's always right, too.
Customer is
always right. So get fucked, other coworker.
Yeah. My coworker gets her kid and goes to the back. After a while, the store emptied again, and my coworker started talking about how rude the lady was and how it's just a favor I'm doing for her. I said, she's right, though. And before I could even blink,
She is right.
I was getting called all sorts of names. Now she complained about me to our boss, and I'm being lectured about teamwork and empathy. I just simply don't understand when this one-time favor turned into part of my job description. So am I the a-hole?
No. I want to know what everyone else
What do
thinks.
you think?
I do not think OP is the a-hole for sure.
No.
I don't think OP is the a-hole for sure, but I would like to know like what the deal is. Like if anyone has ever brought their kid into work to work with them, especially like a small child, like what are the
1-year-old.
office politics or like office rules around that?
Yeah.
I would love to hear it. Put your answers in the comments. And with that, iPad children, nice to see you. And we'll see you soon. And also, we love you and your children and you.
Even if they're iPad
Even if they're
kids.
iPad children. See ya.